All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the South Burlington City Council meeting for September 2nd, 2025. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Item 2, which is instructions on exiting this building in case of an emergency, and a review of our technology options tonight with Jesse Baker, City Manager.
Thank you. So for those in the room, thank you for joining us. If there's an emergency in this room during this meeting, you can go out either side of the rear of the auditorium and then turn left or right to get outside. For those participating remotely, thank you for participating as well. If we are now on our new webinar feature of Zoom, so if you would like to make a comment during the meeting, you can raise your hand and I will be able to see you and have the chair call on you, or you can message me in the chat and I will also have the chair call on you. Other than that, we're not monitoring the chat for content.
Thank you, Jesse. Item 3, agenda review. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes in the order of agenda items tonight? Okay, thank you very much. Item 4, comments and questions from the public that are not related to tonight's agenda. Are there any? I see somebody approaching the podium. Good evening. Please make sure the green light is on.
Good evening.
And identify yourself.
Barbara Service, City of South Burlington, happy resident. I just
And that's it.
And it's, I apologize because Lori was almost late because we were talking outside, but he was 30 seconds before he started. I have a question that maybe I missed this somewhere along the way, but is there any kind of status update on the examination of different ways to do water usage billing?
To do water billing?
Water usage billing.
Water usage billing. So I think the last thing we did was we passed a new water ordinance, and it gives us the ability to change within that the structure for how water is billed. But we haven't taken any action on that.
Okay.
We did, yeah, on our strategies and priorities, we did say we wanted to look at for a couple of reasons, but I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Did you want to go further with this?
No.
Okay.
I will just raise it as an issue.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm here, I promised Lori I wouldn't talk long, but I will say I had 2 more incidents this week with scooters on pedestrian pathways, almost running me over. And now that school is in session, I think it's getting a little bit worse. So I want to thank you again. I think conversations are going, and hopefully when you meet with the school board next and the school district, you can raise that again as an issue, because most of those who are the offenders are of school age.
Those are electric scooters? Electric scooters?
I've been trying to remember, Andrew, what it was called, because I had one when I was a kid. You put your foot on it and you pedal, you push it with the other foot.
Oh, so not motorized.
But so I had one like that, but these are motorized.
Okay.
These are motorized, and he had to be going 15 miles an hour on Dorset Street as school was letting out and impressing his friends. So anything you could do is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Barb. Any other comments from the public? Anybody in the audience tonight? Come on up. Anybody online have their hand up? Don't see it. Okay, then we'll move on to item 5, which is councilors' announcements and reports on committee assignments, and then the city manager's report. Who would like to go first? Anne?
I didn't attend any meetings on behalf of the council.
Thank you. Lori?
I do not have anything to report tonight.
Oh,
thank you.
This is going very quickly. We'll move to Andrew.
Sure. I attended, and I think some of my fellow councilors attended, the South Burlington Police Department awards dinner, where, we witnessed some remarkable men and women who performed above and beyond it's a testament to our public safety officers and to our public safety and city leadership that we really have such an amazing force. It was a very moving event. I attended a Sexton's meeting where we continued discussing the beautification of the Eldridge Cemetery, some accounting issues, and other things. And I attended a Safe Routes to School meeting where we started the process of collecting information with respect to safe routes from the middle school and the high school through a survey and identifying opportunities to visit those schools and talk with folks. We also talked about current projects and transitioning that task force to the Bike Ped Committee as a more kind of stable operating platform going forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew. Elizabeth?
I attended the Planning Commission meeting, and I just want to compliment the Planning Commission for a very robust conversation. It's really incredible to me the amount of work that this group does, and it was very helpful to me to kind of listen into their conversation, their deliberations, the ideas. So that was I make a point of attending those when I can, at least by Zoom. And other than that, the only thing I wanted to share is that I have been asked to host a table at the Champlain Housing Trust annual meeting on November 6th. And I may, once I go through my table leader training, I may be inviting you to join me there. But as part of my duties as liaison to the Housing Committee, I thought it was important to represent council at that venue. That's it.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I attended my last, for now, Public Arts Committee meeting where they met again with another curator candidate that they're trying to select. And Anne could not make that, so she will be taking over for me and attend the next meeting. And they said, quote unquote, they were the funnest committee. And I can't disagree with that, so I'm jealous that you get to be the liaison for that. But then I went right to the Energy Committee meeting after that, and that was very interesting because the CCRPC gave their report on fuel and natural gas usage in South Burlington, both used by trucks and automobiles, and houses, commercial and residential. And there was a long discussion about the not the validity of the numbers, but how the methodology is used to produce those numbers, and the fact that the 2019 report used a different methodology than the last 3 years, and the fact that they can't get data for this next year until the DMV reports out some new values, right? And so there were a lot of questions about how that data was derived. But I think that as that formula gets refined to try and zero in on as accurate a number as you can get, because it's not easy to get that number when you're dealing with the types of data that you use or you're furnished. I think that the signal in the data was that there was a bright spot, that it looked like the city was turning the corner and it's starting to be able to decrease its dependence on fossil fuels. So, yeah, say again.
That was just transportation.
Yeah, it was transportation, and I think heating as well. I think.
Oh, so the heating numbers then should be pretty
should be more
good.
accurate.
And
right.
how
The transportation
they
part
look?
was a little bit shaky.
How'd heating look?
Yeah, I think the heating. So it depends on how you dice it, right? I mean, you could say.
Tina's giving some hand gestures.
Oh, it down, down. So, it may not be at the goal rate that we've set in the plan or in the action plan, but the fact that it's going down means that we're actually turning dials that are having an effect, right? So, that's good news. That's good news. I also attended a planning commission meeting where there was, as Elizabeth said, some very spirited discussion about the lot coverage question for those medium-sized lots at 50%. I threw in my 2 cents as well. And then they also talked about the process that the city would go to be able to get Tier 1 status for Act 250, replacing them, and having just the city do that. I also attended the police department awards night at On Logic. Once again, wonderful venue, great catering, and Chief Briscoe was a wonderful MC and just highlights how well trained and dependable and reliable and amazing our police force can be in really, really tense, dangerous situations, and how they handle themselves and minimize impact to both the suspects and potential victims. And so we were really, the awards, highlighted three major things that happened, and I think everybody was amazed at how well they turned out. So, and I know that that's going to continue on into the future. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks. Just a couple of things for me tonight. So for counselors who are involved with the FY26 budget creation, we had talked about supporting an equity position at CCRPC if it came to that with one-time funds. And I wanted to share that one of my colleagues, another city manager, found a grant opportunity to fund this kind of work across communities housed out of CCRPC. So we are in the process of that grant agreement for about $350,000 for 3 years to hire somebody to support that work across all of our communities. So a really interesting regional approach. So I think that's really exciting news, and look forward to bringing you more information on that. A couple of reminders about fun upcoming recreation things. So the Fly by 5K on September 20th is the 5K at the airport on the runway. We have over 200 registered participants and 130 new users to the recreation system as a result of that effort. So excellent job to the recreation team. And if you're looking to run, sign up now. If you're looking to volunteer, let us know. And then Adam and the Recreation Department is launching what he's called Spotlight 802 Presents, which is a speaker series for the winter. And the first speaker will be in November, which is Donna Carpenter, one of the founders of Burton. So keep your eyes out for that. As folks may have observed, Garden Street is now open to two-way traffic from Trader Joe's and Healthy Living to Market Street. It's only open this week because next week we will go back down to one lane as we install the water line, but it is coming. And then construction on the City Center Boardwalk, which is one of our significant TIF projects, begins next week. So we are excited to see shovels in the ground for that. That's what I have.
Can I throw in a couple
You're not going to
things?
mention glow-in-the-dark pickleball?
Can I also throw in that Fly by 5K is on the runway at the airport? Folks, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And it is free. Originally, it wasn't free, but it is now. I think the first 250 people get some swag. Do you know what it is? Is it a T-shirt or some kind of swag? So if there are 200 now, and it's probably building, I would get your registration as soon as possible if you want to be part of that. The only other airfield I've walked across before is between La Linea, Spain, and Gibraltar, because that's the only road that gets into Gibraltar, and they have to close that road to get the airfield to use it to land planes and scramble the British small fighters that defend that rock. So anyway, thank you very much. Moving on to item 6, which is the consent agenda. We have 6A, which is consider and sign the disbursements for the financial warrants. 6B, approve the collective bargaining agreement between the city and AFS-CME as presented. 6C, allocate up to $7,500 of the Energy Project Reserve Funds balance in fiscal year 2026 to enter into an agreement with Dubois and King Incorporated to conduct an energy feasibility study at the Airport Parkway Wastewater Treatment Facility. 6D, award of the Brewer Parkway Water Line Replacement Project to Poulin Construction and approve amending the existing contract with A+C Engineering to cover construction phase services and authorize Matt Garino, South Burlington Water Superintendent, to sign all of the paperwork. 6E, approve the FY26 Policy Priorities and Strategies Work Plan of the Bike and Ped Committee. And finally, 6F, approve the FY26 Policy and Priorities and Strategies of the Planning Commission Work Plan. Can I have a motion to approve
Can I
the
have a
consent
question?
agenda?
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Sure.
On the first, what is the South Burlington School District impact fee of 30,000 plus. What can you explain that?
Sure. So, about 2 years ago, the city council passed an ordinance applying impact fees to new construction for the construction of the ZEMS. So every time a new project is permitted, but depending on what kind of housing it is, that will have impacts on the school district, an impact fee is applied. We collect those fees on behalf of the school district, and then we send those revenues to the school district. ZEMS are the zero emission module classrooms that you see out in front of some of the schools.
Are there any other questions?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
I wondered if we needed to pull 6B off because we have a separate proposed motion coming out of executive session. And I would like to pull 6F off for a couple of comments.
Okay. So pull 6B and 6F and we'll have
I guess it's a question on 6B. Do we have a separate proposed motion? Do we need to pull that off?
I didn't think so.
Jared, do you have that AFSCME motion that,
I have the motion.
I don't have
Oh,
a
you-
specific motion, but if the consent agenda is the item,
Incorporation.
including, so the overarching motion will move it as proposed motion.
Okay, so we don't have to
You
take
don't
it
have
off.
to take it off.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
But still 6F?
6F.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you want to,
So I'll amend my motion to remove 6F from the consent agenda.
Second.
we have motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. It's unanimous. So you want to talk about 6F now?
Sure. So my question on 6F, I brought this up at our last meeting, and I just want to clarify, and some of this may be as much a question as it is a comment. Knowing the Planning Commission is a statutory committee that's appointed by council, when council moved by majority to ask the Planning Commission to move forward on their own recommendation to go back and consider additional qualifiable criteria for future amendment regarding bedrock removal language and the performance standards of the LDRs. I was not aware, we were not aware as council that there might be a trade-off of work that was being done at the commission level. So in this summary and prior to this meeting, I did learn that there's a trade-off of the work that's being done on the Shelburne Road corridor, sort of the town center concept, and the airport area planning as well. And my question is, if council kind of comes up with a recommendation to the Planning Commission, is there a give and take of, or should there be a give and take of when the Planning Commission says, okay, if we add that to our work plan, we are either not able to do some things or we need to delay the timing of certain things. And that's my basic question is, should that be a give and take, or is that something that is delegated to the authority of the Planning Commission through the statutory nature of that?
Should we have staff answer that question?
Sure.
I can start with a part of it, which is just a clarification that on the bedrock removal, that was the addition of that further research in it was initiated by the Planning Commission. So when they moved to send you the package that you're reviewing later, they said they were moving it forward and wanted to come to spend more time on it. They felt that this was a large enough topic that they felt that this was, given that you approved the work plans generally, that they wanted to be transparent and also to be realistic about the implications on its timeline. For other items, I guess I would broadly say the whole policy priorities is a collective work in progress, and I think that the Planning Commission wanted to work with you in a transparent and meaningful way to make sure that our goals are all aligned. Your question is a big one, though, of if the council says here's an important topic, you are within the statutory rights to assign a topic to them, because the city charter says that the planning commission's job includes things assigned to them by the city council. Certainly in those motions, if it's a large one, you could ask that the commission evaluate it and come back with, what implications it would have to the work plan if that was something that you felt you wanted to be doing. But those are just my musings on it.
And for the record, you are,
For the record, I am Paul Connor, Director of Planning and Zoning.
thank you very much.
17 years, 1 month, 1 day.
Would you mind, Tim, if I ask a follow-on question?
Sure.
So, Paul, can you just articulate then what the impact to the projects, the Shelburne Road project and then the Airport Parkway project, what the implications are to those projects that are on the
Sure,
current
great
policy
question.
and
So
priorities?
in this particular instance, there were 2 projects that the Planning Commission felt realistically, in order to accommodate these other ones, would have a later start date. The first one is the Shelburne Road Corridor Center. They realistically, we had applied for a grant. The City Council submitted a grant application to do work. We were not successful in that grant application. And so we were already in the stage of saying, what can we accomplish this year with in-house funds, and what would we be seeking as additional funds? So what the commission is doing is they actually just at their last meeting had review and discussion of what other projects are happening this year that they wanted to be clear that we're not missing the opportunity, like the Parks and Open Space Master Plans and the Active Transportation Plan, the Economic Development Strategic Plan, to have this concept be clear and to provide feedback right now. It doesn't really have a material effect because we were going to be looking for additional funding anyway to do the bigger project. For the airport infill, it's really just that is as recommended by the Planning Commission, as in your city plan. That is a neighborhood study of that area and future goals, and we've had a very positive relationship working with the airport, looking at creative funding sources. I think it means starting it in May instead of starting it in January. So while time is always important, it is not, the commission felt that it was a worthy trade-off for the other work that is listed in here.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. So do you want to vote on that now separately?
I can vote on this now. Thanks.
So we need a motion to approve 6F from the consent
moved.
agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. So now we're going to move on to item, well, it's not 7 o'clock yet. It has to be 7 o'clock, right? Do we want to move item 13 up? Does that sound good? I'm going to jump to item 13. Okay. Because we have to have a public hearing. Okay. So item 13 is discuss a stipend policy and possibly take action. Jesse Baker, City Manager.
So 2 meetings ago, I think you asked us to look at bringing a stipend policy back to you. Just for those in the room or watching later, this is specifically contemplating making available a $50 stipend to volunteers who serve on boards or committees with the city, not counselors or staff. So we heard your discussion and put together both a policy and a form that we think captures what your interest was, but are open to any feedback. If you so choose, you can change the policy, adopt it. We can bring it back in the future, or if you want to take action tonight, you can take that action. If you do take action, I would also recommend that you consider allocating up to the $67,000 of general fund balance for the use in FY26, with a reminder that if we don't spend those dollars, it stays in fund balance.
I really appreciate the work that the staff did on this, and I think it represents both the discussion that we had and is an equitable process, and it is consistent with what whatever that county committee is. And I thank you for doing it, and I hope the council moves forward on it.
So I sent an email. I'd love to adjust it a bit because I guess the form right now requires folks to both choose to receive, but also choose to decline. And I think the psychology of it, it's very hard to decline money. And so I think if we keep that form as proposed, we will wind up spending taxpayer dollars that we didn't spend before, that are not really getting us any utility, just because of the psychology of how that form is drafted. So I would like it to, for someone who wants to receive it, to choose to receive it. And if folks just don't return the form, then they've implicitly chosen not to receive it. And I think if we do it that way, the likelihood is we won't be spending $64,000 that we've never spent before and never had to spend. If we don't do that way, I think the likelihood is we'll be spending close to $64,000, which would be unfortunate, I think.
So are you saying that if somebody wants to receive it, they could check the box and return it, or somebody can just decline to not even return the form at all?
Right. Right.
Okay.
So I sent that email. If you
Yeah.
choose to receive it, choose to receive. And, if you don't send the form back, you don't.
So you only have the one line to check to receive the stipend, eliminate the decline line, and if someone fills out the form and sends it in asking for it, they get it. And if they don't, they don't.
Right.
So you don't have to actively decline.
Right.
You have to just actively engage.
And put her hand up first.
Andrew, I appreciate your point of view, and I have a greater belief in human nature and in the people declining it if they don't want to receive it for whatever reason. And I think that it makes sense to have both of the options, and with our mail system, etc., things might get lost and all those kinds of things. So I think having that and having both, yes, I want, no, I don't want, is the way to go.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, I support Andrew's revision to this. As you might recall, when we first had this discussion, I was in favor of an opt-in scenario, and my rationale is a little bit different. I don't know anything about psychology, but what I really feel is this is a pilot program, and we have a goal of increasing representation and being inclusive within the city. So I think by earmarking those budget dollars with a goal in mind and the opt-in, then we have a chance to, this is an unbudgeted amount right now. We have a chance to really assess, is this a venue to sort of get to that additional representation that we might be looking for? So I do support the opt-in scenario.
I appreciate your supporting that. And I think one could assess no matter what the form looked like.
So let me
I'll
ask,
just add one more thing, which
sure.
is this is new to us. We've never done it before. And whichever way we do it, I hope that we have a reassessment period in 6 months or in a year and see what's happening. And if everybody is opting in, we may have a different opinion than if everybody's opting out. So I lean towards what Andrew was suggesting, but either way, I think we're going to have to reassess.
Can I ask a committee appointment procedural question, right? So when does this form get presented to a newly appointed committee member?
Well, this year it would need to go out to everybody since
Right.
they're on rolling cycles.
Right.
I think if this was instituted in normal times, it would go out with their appointment letter.
Okay, all right. And then they would have, and only they would see that because it's a personal email?
Only they would receive the form and would have to submit it and submit their W-9.
Right.
Their names will show up on your warrants.
Right. Yep, that's fine. But the fact that they selected to receive is their business and the staff's business that processes that information only. The committee has no knowledge of who's receiving the stipend, right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
We will need sign-in sheets for committees.
Mhm.
We will need to create an internal process to know who on that sign-in sheet is eligible for the funds, and then we'll
Mhm.
need to create an audit trail for that.
But that's a
But
staff
That's a staff thing.
action. Okay.
Can I ask perhaps a unrelated question? You started out by saying this does not include city council and some other group. Why doesn't it include us? I'm
So we just wanted to clarify that the stipend would only be for those volunteering with committees. So people who staff the committees would not be eligible for the stipend on top of their salary.
Mhm.
And it would not adhere to the council liaison attendance either, since you get a stipend otherwise for
Yeah.
your
Oh, we
council
do?
service. You do?
Well,
I didn't know that.
well,
And if I choose not to take it, how do I know not to take it?
You tell me.
Okay, but I
You can
didn't- I didn't-
return
I
it
didn't
when
know
you
that we
receive
got
it.
a stipend.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
we were trying to not tell you, but it slipped out. Sorry. Does that answer your question fully?
I'm sorry.
Does that fully answer your question?
We can talk about the stipends.
It does.
All right. So we're at a point where two counselors think that we should just remove the decline line. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
And Lori, what was your feeling? I can't remember.
You felt that way also. I think Elizabeth felt
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And I'm inclined to remove it, but I'm also not wed to it.
Yeah. I think for the sake to start this process, I think we should just remove it and go from there. It's a personal item that they receive in a personal email from the city when they join a committee for the first time. They can check it and return it and return their tax information. And
The only benefit I see to having decline on there is it lets people know that that's an option. If they get it and they just see they have to check the received spot, it's like, oh, I have to return this. I have to say that I'm accepting it. So maybe on here it should say that only return this if you're wanting to receive the stipend.
Well, what I wrote, if you choose to receive, please indicate. That's
Yes,
yeah,
okay.
That's what I wrote.
And Lori, there is a requirement that a W-2 be sent in.
Right, a
As
W-9,
well.
1099.
so, council, good with these? Do you need a motion for this?
Oh,
Steve?
yeah, this is your policy, so you
Oh.
will need to motion to adopt this or an amended this.
There is,
So I move to adopt.
Wait,
Wait.
hold on.
But we
there's some
have
public
we have
comment.
public comment.
First of all, if you want to speak, you need to come to a microphone and turn it on and state your name and then make your comment.
Ashley Rooks. I think so. Did we land on Andrew's way? Because I do think a lot of people. I just agree with that. If a lot of people are going to say their time is valuable, so they're going to want to get the money. So I like the manual opt-in. And also, you kept on talking about the 67K when you also have 117K listed in case more groups join. And
I'm sorry, could you repeat what you said? I'm having a hard time hearing.
sorry.
Would you think about removing your mask just to speak? Thank you.
Might be the asthma, but I just want to. everyone, their instinct is to think how their time is valuable, and that's what makes it easy to, that's one of the things that makes it easy to opt into the money versus if you literally need to pay for transportation or somebody to watch your kids to get there. I think that's what you're trying to weed to get those people to be able to be included. And I also just noted that on one of the downloads, there was a number of 67K to 117K that was including more of the volunteer groups. Because everyone's time is valuable, but some people really need it. And that's why the mandatory opt-in just, it's a little bit more work, and some people may still choose to take it when they're really quite comfortable. But
Great, thank you. Did you want to make your motion again?
So I move to adopt the stipend policy as proposed and the stipend option form as amended, as discussed and as reflected in the email that I sent to counselors.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. So Anne voted nay, the rest were aye. 4-1. Thank you very much.
Is it acceptable to the council that we implement this as of October 1st, so we have September to collect documentation? And okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
And Jesse, do you need a motion to earmark general funds?
Yes, please.
So I would make a motion to earmark annualized general funds of up to $67,000 to support stipends.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. All right, now we have time, because it's after 7, to go back to item 7, which is, this is the second reading and public hearing on draft amendments to the Land Development Regulations LDR 25-01 to LDR 25-07 and official map OM 25-01. This series of proposed changes to the city's land development regulations, zoning and subdivision, approved by the Planning Commission, include the following: updates to the regulations in the city center area to streamline the review process, allow more flexibility in design, increase allowed heights and plans for future public infrastructure, consolidating use categories in commercial areas of the city, setting requirements for bedrock removal and on-site processing, and technical improvements throughout. Is Paul Connor here? Does he want to come back down again?
Sure is.
Hi, folks. Paul Connor, Director of Planning and Zoning. So this is your public hearing on these two subjects. So we would encourage you to open your public hearing, hear from folks online and in person. The only comment that we received in writing was one that was also shared with each of you from Roseanne Greco on behalf of the Land Trust. And so following your public hearing, I'll be happy to come back for a discussion.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved?
Hold on.
I move to open a public hearing on amendments to the Land Development Regulations, LDR 25-01 through LDR 25-07 and official map OM 25-01.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous, and we are now open for a public hearing on these LDR amendments.
Can I make a quick comment?
Please.
As we do appear to have many people in the room and online. So again, just for those who are not here at the beginning of the meeting, who are now online, we are in our new Zoom webinar interface. So if you would like to talk during the public hearing, if you can raise your hand in Zoom, and I will have the chair call on you, and then I will ask you to unmute. Thanks.
Thank you. So why don't we start in the auditorium, and I'm going to try and urge people to keep it at 2 minutes or less. All right. If you are going to be echoing something that somebody has already said, you can refer to them and say, I agree with so-and-so, and just reaffirm, but try to keep it under 2 minutes, please. Who'd like to go first? Raise your hand. Mr. Lees has his hand up. But you still have to identify yourself when you come to the microphone. And make sure the bright green light is on.
My name is James Margulies. I live in.
I think you need to turn the light on.
It is dark.
Can you press it again?
Bright green.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll start over. My name is James Margulies. I live on Butler Drive. The city staff noise amendments to the LDR and ordinance do not protect the public. The main purpose of local government, not only in Vermont, but all around the country, is to protect public health, safety, and welfare. Decision on these amendments should be tabled until the city staff provides an update that protects health, safety, and welfare of the public. Here is what the city staff amendments do. They allow extreme noise of jackhammering, which is 85 decibels or so 50 feet away, top hammer drilling, which according to the manual for that drill is 124 decibels at the point of the drill, and blasting, which is 133 decibels 250 feet away. All day long and anywhere in the city, including right outside homes and other areas of frequent human use, such as schools, child care centers, parks, and recreation paths. Under the city staff amendments, the developer need only submit a written plan to avoid any and all restrictions. There is no standard in the regulations, and the DRB, the Development Review Board, lacks power under these amendments to disallow any daytime plan that may be submitted for daytime jackhammering, top hammer drilling, or blasting. The city staff amendments put the hearing and cognitive development of children and the hearing, brains, hearts, and vascular systems of adults at risk for no good reason. Developers know how to build housing in appropriate locations and with appropriate methods without hurting public health, safety, and welfare. For example, where there's rock ledge, they don't have to put in a basement and drill and blast and jackhammer away at the bedrock. We citizens have put together an alternative version of the proposed amendments that we're calling citizen proposed alternative amendments. We simply adopted the work of the experts on the Vermont Environmental Board. These provisions to protect public health and safety were adopted by the Environmental Court and by the Vermont Supreme Court. The alternative sets specific standards with decibels and duration of bedrock removal when construction is outside homes and other areas of frequent human use. The council doesn't need to adopt an amendment tonight. Instead of rushing to adopt the flawed city staff amendments that will cause injury and damage in the weeks, months, or years ahead before they are properly amended again, we call on the city councilors to direct the Planning Commission to return with an updated version next month that has standards that limits duration and decibel outside homes and areas of public use to protect public health and safety. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jimmy. Who's next? Somebody else? Come on down. If that bright green light is on the base of that microphone, you're good. But just
Which light?
There's a bright green light at the bottom.
Yes, it's
Is it?
on.
Okay, pull that
My
down.
name is Rose Goddard. I live on Golf Course Road, and for the past, I don't know how many months, I've been listening to construction. This morning at 7:15, it was my alarm clock. So I fully support all the fancy talk of the city employee. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. And the gentleman that just spoke. Noise is critical. I've already submitted a letter asking you to look at the park in general. I feel so badly that South Burlington doesn't look to the future and protect the crown jewel that we have. But if that's not going to happen, I sure don't want to listen from 7:15 a.m. all day long to the blasting and all the noise, as well as the safety issue. I almost hit those barriers on Park Road because somebody crowded me over, and there's no place to go except hit the barrier. So safety is a major issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody online that's had their hand up? Nobody online? Somebody else is getting up. Come on down.
My name is Jonathan Bloom. We live on Nicklaus Circle, right underneath the water towers.
Yeah.
And I would like to agree with what Mr. Lees said about the noise of construction and what we're putting up with, even with the water tower, and how the noise is detrimental to our well-being. We're all close to 80 or over 80, and it really makes life very, very difficult. And I think you should take time to consider the amendment that Mr. Lee suggested as opposed to adopting the one that the staff suggested. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there is somebody, a couple people on the line.
Okay, let's go with Jean. Jean, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you give us your full name, please?
Yes, Jeannie Zagurski.
How are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good. What would you like to tell us?
So I agree with all of those speaking before me, and I would like to encourage and support the city councilors to direct the planning commission to go ahead and strengthen the proposed city staff amendments with the standards and the regulations that those before me talked about, and include the decibel duration and location limits that protect public health, our safety, and the noise anywhere in the city that are near the homes and the other areas of frequent human use, like schools and childcare centers, parks and recreation paths, and of course the nature parks. So yeah, I am definitely in support of encouraging the standards and regulations to include all of those decibel duration and location limits.
Is that all, Jean?
That's all for now. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go back to the auditorium. Somebody else wants to speak?
Hi there. Beth Zigman, Golf Course Road. So I'll start by saying that I agree with what Mr. Lee said. I don't think that this iteration of this amendment is ready for prime time. And I also want to, I agree with all the things that he said. And I also want to point out for the newest member of the council, Councilor Pugh, this issue of excessive noise dates back years. Many members of the public, some of whom are here, others who are just completely exhausted by having to continually show up and plead with the city council to do something about this. In my own computer files, I have meeting notes and letters that I've written to councilors, emails that I've sent to councilors dating back 5 years at this point. The whole issue started when there was jackhammering, excavator jackhammering, within, 100, 150 feet of our homes. It went on for 4 months straight. every day from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. without cease. They ceased for maybe a half an hour during lunch. So that's when the whole ordeal started. Previous counselors who've heard the many members of the public come out and plead with the council to do something about this issue include Megan Emery, Tyler Barnes, Elizabeth Fitzgerald, Lori Smith, Andrew Chalnick, Jesse Baker were not even part of this council when this issue came to light. And here we are years later still pleading for these standards, for these decibel limits. So that's that. I just wanted to set some historical context. I'd be happy to provide meeting dates so all of you can go back and review all of the testimony that we've given over the years about this issue. So I'm asking that this amendment be sent back to the planning board. The other thing that I'm a little confused about is how we ended up with such a weak provision in the LDRs after multiple meetings where we asked for decibel limits. My husband, full disclosure, is on the planning board. He started as a member of the planning board in July, and his first meeting was the meeting when the planning board approved the LDRs that you're looking at tonight. And it's not clear to me, having, spoken with him, reviewed some of that information, how we got to this point where the city staff seems to have not taken the previous recommendations of this city council, absent Councilor Pugh, and actually drafted LDRs that are in concordance with what the city council had asked for in meetings that I personally attended. Now we have this watered down version that's about to be signed off on, and I would ask that you all reconsider and send it back to the Planning Commission so that they can do their due diligence and give it a very thorough review, consider decibel limits, and anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Beth.
Ashley Rooks again. I don't even live near that, but I've had experience in the past, and even if it'll cost builders more now, it'll drastically affect people's productivity and lives if it's not mitigated and limited to certain amounts. I don't know if it's loud enough to make you cover your ears, but if it is, that's enough to cause hearing damage like that. That's why people stop doing it after they're exposed a little while, and you see little kids doing it and growing out of it. But yeah, it'll benefit the city if we invest in protecting that.
Thank you. Sandy Dooley's online. Sandy, can you hear us?
Yes.
Good evening.
Hi. I just want to say, I generally believe that staff does due diligence in preparing this kind of ordinance and LDRs. And one of the factors that is involved is comparing what we have and what we might consider to other municipalities with similar attributes, population size, nearness to jobs, and that kind of thing. So I do not support the comments of the prior speakers. The other thing is, I think we have to think about balancing different priorities. I've heard over and over again the need to have more commercial and industrial development in order to increase our grand list, in order to have more tax revenue, and also that we need to have more housing because the housing situation is dire and we have a lot of people who are unhoused. So I'm concerned that what the people that don't like what's in front of you are asking for will be a major barrier to the kind of development that the city needs and that has been discussed in the economic development plan. I also wonder, how on earth do you monitor decibels? It seems unrealistic to me. Anyway, I just think we need to be more global in thinking about the impacts of what the opponents are asking for and what the staff has presented and the planning commission have presented to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Anybody else in the house? Come on down.
In the
Your name, please.
Oh, sorry. My name is Amanda Hannaford, and I live in South Burlington. And I, instead of reinstating what others have said, I would like to support and agree with what the other speakers have said. And I also I'm sorry, Beth Zigman. I came late, so I only heard Beth and Jimmy and Jean speaks. So I agree with what they have said. And in response to Sandy Dooley's comments, with respect, I think that a noise ordinance isn't inconsistent with her comments, or a noise ordinance that protects human health is not inconsistent. Not allowing basements in places where ledges, or swimming pools in places where ledges are, I don't think that prevents housing being built. The current development isn't commercial or industrial building, and you can measure noise decibels. There are many different ways to do it. I'm not an expert, but having also been at a lot of these meetings, it sounds like there are ways to measure noise, and that's why OSHA does it, to protect employees' hearing. So if OSHA can do it, I think we can do it too.
Thank you. Somebody else? Anybody online? Nobody online. Going once, going twice. You want to make another comment? Make it quick.
Just adding that, yeah, if
You're going to state your name again.
Ashley Rooks, there might be one thing for blasting a little bit of bedrock if the bedrock is incredibly unstable, and then still limiting the time and duration so it's not chronic. But crap, I just got distracted. Yeah, I'm pro development. I think everyone who lives here wants their children to stay here, and I think that's going to be the biggest problem we're going to face. But yeah, basements aren't needed if.
Thank you. All right. One more?
Councilor Barrett, I have a text from a neighbor who says that she's having trouble getting she's having a tech problem, and she sent a statement that she would like me to read. Would it be permissible for me to come to the mic and read the statement of Christina Griffin?
You can't remotely connect and attend?
Here, Christina Griffin.
She's saying that she's on the meeting, but she's unable.
No, she's
I
at the.
just allowed her to talk. She just didn't have her hand up.
Christina, can you hear us now? Looks like you have to unmute her.
Oh, she has to unmute.
Oh, you are muted, Christina. Can you talk now?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead,
Oh,
please.
wonderful. Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you. I was having some tech difficulty. I didn't think I was able to raise my hand. Okay. I'd like to offer another perspective on noise limits in our city. A single, as we consider this ordinance, a single gas-powered leaf blower typically measures 80 to 85 decibels at 50 feet. I know in my neighborhood, as in many neighborhoods, there are often several running at once. That combined noise would exceed the proposed ordinance. And the irony is that it isn't even more efficient with the same number of people using rakes. The work could be done just as quickly without a wall of sound. These blowers also burn fuel, which undercuts our city and state climate pledges. So I'm curious what considerations went into setting the limit at 85 decibels, and could a limit on gas-powered leaf blowers be part of the consideration for decibel limits? Thank you for hearing my comment.
Thank you, Christina. All right, anybody else in the house? Nobody else online? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing then?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. So now the public hearing is closed on these LDR amendments. Which counselor would like to start with some discussion about this?
Are you moving to 8?
Hmm?
Are you moving to agenda 8 then?
Yes, I'm sorry. We're going now at agenda item 8, which is possible action on these regulations that are proposed. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So there's actually two things I want to address. One is the noise, but I also want to talk about TDRs. So on noise, so I share the frustration with the slow progress, and I've personally proposed stronger language over the last several years, including with decibel limits. But this is the way the city works. It works apace, and we have all our neighbors on the planning commission who in good faith spend a lot of time, and folks should go back and listen to the July 7th meeting where there was robust debate and with integrity to do something for the city on this issue. It doesn't do everything it should do, I agree, but it's better than what we have now. It's certainly better than what we have now. The changes strengthen our existing ordinance. They do that in 3 ways. One, today we only have a general prohibition against unreasonable noise. That prohibition is strengthened by explicitly limiting bedrock during daytime hours. So you can't do removal after 5 or before 8 anymore. You couldn't do that under existing law. That doesn't exist. So that's strengthening. Second, the developer is limited to 40 hours on any project at the highest level. The developer wants to build 200 homes. They're limited to 40 hours unless the developer submits a plan that's reviewed by the DRB, where the DRB has to consider duration and level of the noise and agree with the developer on a plan. Could that be strengthened? Could that be better? Yeah, it could. Could it have decibel limits? It could, but it's a lot better than what we have now. This is not a deception on the public or trying to give some developer. This is trying in good faith to address an issue that's been out there for a long time. So having said that, I'm in favor of the planning commission doing more work. And I mean, like I said, I've suggested language that I'd love the planning commission to adopt. And we heard tonight, it's already on their work plan. So they're already gonna do it. And let's all, help them. Let's provide information, data, studies, so they do the very best job that they can. So that's on noise. Should we maybe finish noise discussion and then turn to TDRs? Would that
Sure.
be better?
That'd probably be better.
TDRs, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lori was first.
In terms of table setting, I just want to say that the reason we are talking about the LDRs with regard to chipping and bedrock, and the reason we're talking about the noise ordinance, is that the council has discussed and been concerned about protecting our citizens. We cannot say that nobody can blast or chip. Development is going to happen. We cannot just say no or we'll get sued. There have to be balances. And I know that when the golf course development was created, there was chipping, there was blasting, there was noise that impacted getting those houses there. It's part of the process. We have to find a balance, and we have to find a way. I personally agree we shouldn't have basements on ledge if we need to blast, but that's the background of the reason we are having this conversation at all, is that the council wants to create more protections for our citizens. My biggest question for you, Paul, is we have in the LDRs, in the performance standards, that if there's excessive chipping, somebody has to come forward with a plan, and that plan has to be approved. My concern is that if I'm a developer and I have a lot to do, there's the possibility that the Planning Commission and DRB could approve something that is egregious and supersede the noise ordinance and leave no protection at all. I want to make sure that it's on the record that the intention of these LDRs is to provide protections while allowing developers to do the work they need to do in order to do the development work that I may or may not agree with, but they have the legal right to do. Did you get the question?
I didn't hear the question in it. I heard what you said, but I didn't hear what the question of
The
me was. I
question
apologize.
is, I want to hear on the record that is the intention of these LDRs to make sure that there are protections for our residents around excessive noise with blasting and ledge removal? And do we have a system in place to ensure that when a ledge removal plan comes forward, that it goes through the proper vetting to make sure that it's not going to create untenable situations?
Sure. So two-part answer. First of all, to your question of purpose, yes, that is the specific purpose. The regulations do not currently have a standard for the removal of bedrock. So this is establishing a standard. The Planning Commission felt, following their public hearing, that it was important. They recommended that you adopt this standard and that they consider how to strengthen it. That the alternative is to not bring forward a standard because we don't have one now. So that's on the purpose side. In terms of the processes in place, as Councilor Chalnick noted, there is a requirement that if there's going to be, if there's any reason to believe that there is bedrock being removed or needed to be, then a plan must be submitted. The applicant hopefully would do that themselves. If not, the board has the authority to identify, based on reasonable evidence, that there is likely to be one, and to compel the applicant to do tests to see if that would be needed. In addition, the board has the authority throughout the regulations, so we didn't have to repeat it, on any subject to invoke an independent technical review where they believe that outside third review is necessary, and that gets charged to the applicant. So that has happened over the years on subjects like traffic or odors or various different things, and wherever the board feels that that the project would benefit from a review like that, they have complete and full authority to do that, and that's established in state law, so that's not our own creation. So those are the mechanisms in place in advance of a project review. Obviously, every decision is appealable. That's an additional mechanism that that folks have, and then of course, then upon construction, then there's the enforcement and administration of that. So that is on the staff side.
If a ledge removal program is accepted and adopted, and it exceeds what our noise ordinance allows, is it then exempt from the noise ordinance?
As drafted in your amendments to the noise ordinance that are also on tonight's agenda, so that there isn't a cross confusion, it states in the draft noise ordinance that items specifically approved by the Development Review Board are considered to be allowable under the nuisance ordinance, so that we're being consistent as a city.
Okay.
But
only what's
But
accepted.
only the plan that's accepted.
Right, only if the plan is accepted, not just anything that's been reviewed. And and if they don't submit a plan, then they're not subject. Then the nuisance ordinance still holds, or any historic development that predates, because zoning can only go forward; it can't address prior applications.
So, and I hope this would never happen, but logistically, a plan could get put forward that called for rock removal 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year. And if it was approved, then it would be exempt from the noise ordinance.
Yes.
So
Well,
that's
assuming it hasn't been appealed, but
Yeah.
yes.
So that's the concern that I have with the way the LDRs are written, and I just want to make sure that on the record there is indication that the intention is to create sustainable limits for public health and safety.
Sorry, Paul, where is that in the nuisance ordinance?
I'll have to pull up that agenda item. Do you want to join me, Jared? Just a moment.
Does intent matter? Doesn't it matter more what it says?
From my experience going through Supreme Court and other things, intent definitely matters, and the courts look at what the intent of the ordinances and regulations are. So
Let's minimize the back and forth right now, please.
Just 1 second. I have a correction.
Thank you.
My apologies. There have been multiple iterations of this. There was a prior draft that did make that cross-reference. Upon your one of your first readings, council decided not to do that.
We took that out.
The thing that has been aligned is both state that it is a prohibition between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. Both of those state that, so it's very clear. There is not a explicit statement that says that you are automatically in compliance with the nuisance ordinance.
And so just to be clear, the nuisance ordinance, which says that unreasonable noise is unlawful, and noise is unreasonable when it disturbs, injures, or endangers the health or peace of a person, will still apply.
Yes. I believe that, and I don't know that Jared was at this meeting, but I do believe that our city attorney Colin had noted, I'm recalling this, that that a court would consider the fact that a DRB had approved a component of it. So the bar might be higher to demonstrate that it is a violation of another city ordinance.
But to go to Laura's point,
So
if
this-
it was an egregious plan.
this
Right.
this clarifies what I was asking.
Okay, so
And-
my
and is a
apologies for the,
different
fault,
answer
for
than
the
the one you-
incorrect information a minute ago.
Which is different than the one you gave me. The noise ordinance will not be superseded by a bedrock removal plan that is in excess of the noise ordinance. The noise ordinance still holds jurisdiction.
I think truthfully, we could, as a city, find ourselves in a balancing act
Yeah.
of trying to enforce the noise ordinance against something that we have approved. And I think that that's what Paul is saying. I think that it would be the goal of everyone to balance it and make it so that we're finding the happy medium, but it may result in a challenging moment. No doubt. I think that's a possibility.
So then,
But sorry, Lori. Sorry.
I was just to say, my follow-up question is, how do we put assurances in there that the ledge removal plan that is approved does not create an egregious situation for our residents? And can we do that? Knowing that people still have the right to develop their land and to do the work that it takes to do that business.
I think that do you want to go ahead or?
Well, I think it's an interesting point. I think we should remember they are both considered ordinances of the city. So do you need duplicative ordinances, or is as long as we follow as long as the plan follows the items in 16A, what letter is it? 8 or F with all those submittal requirements, then it shouldn't be an egregious plan accepted by the Planning Commission and DRB. And if it is, then the council can take action on that.
Okay.
Oh, we
So-
can,
Correct,
just
there-
to be
A-
clear.
A council could appeal a DRB decision.
So-
Hopefully we never in that circumstance, but it is an authority, right? Yes. They're a statutory body.
Anne?
My questions or my comments are sort of less technical. What I have heard today is that people want standards. What I've heard in the answers is that while these standards may not be as high or robust, as strong as some people want, they're better than what we have now. They're a step in the right direction. That people are saying these are not ready for prime time, maybe because they want stronger standards or they want other things. And what I saw in the previous motions that under 6F, which was the policy priorities and the Planning Commission work plan, that they added and that they have on their work plan, review and consider further updates to bedrock removal standards and review and consider updates to performance standards. So when I both understand that what we have, let's say, is a D, we have wonderful standards. They could be better. And this is a step towards getting better. And it's still a work in progress, but we don't want to stay where we are now. We want to go a little step farther and then give, as people asked, the Planning Commission it's on their work plan to continue to look at it and address and hear more testimony.
Thank you, Anne. Elizabeth?
Yeah, I agree with all of your comments. I do, I am very familiar with the neighborhood specific issues on the jackhammer and bedrock removal, and have used the word bone jarring before because that is what it has been for very prolonged periods of time for many neighbors in certain areas. I have kind of watched as this process has evolved, and since I've served on council, and I do not see what is being proposed tonight as any kind of a watered down version of an ordinance. I feel like it is progress in the right direction. I did sit in, I forgot the date, but I think you reminded me, July 7th meeting. And I think the use of your word, Andrew, of integrity, it was a really robust conversation about how to come up with quantifiable and qualifiable criteria and standards that really brought up a number of issues that I don't think I'd ever heard other folks bring up before. Many folks have brought up, but I think the orientation to sort of jump to, okay, I heard this neighborhood used or this community used X decibels, and I heard this community use this equipment, and I heard over here, this is how they're calibrating the equipment, and this is where they measure the noise from, and this is the right duration, or this is how many days it should be allowed to go on, or how many hours. So the conversation at the Planning Commission was thorough and resulted in a recommendation that is what's before council now. And it is the Planning Commission, as you reminded me, Paul, earlier, because I had the concern that council has some other priorities that are going to be taking a back seat in order for the commission to move forward on their own recommendation that really looks at going back and considering additional criteria for a future amendment. So knowing we have that momentum going and knowing the level of detail that they considered their inability to come up with a recommendation previously that resulted in what we're seeing today, I support the path that we're taking forward right now and recognize it's other people might have great ideas, and I think they should pass those on to the Planning Commission. And I think we're headed in a direction that will get the city to a point where we are addressing this issue and in a meaningful way. But I think this is progress toward that goal today.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I completely agree with you. So I remember riding my bicycle to work in 2020 on the bike path that goes to Butler Farms from Golf Course Road, and hearing the chipping in early June of 2020, and it went on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And that was an egregious amount of construction noise for that community, and I totally understand that. And I think that these LDR, these regulations that are in front of us that we are going to vote on tonight, they look at that succinctly first of all, because what we don't want is we don't want a repeat of that. That drove a lot of people really nuts, and it was an egregious abuse of their community. We don't want that again. But on the other hand, you have construction events that have to occur in the city, and they might need to be using dynamite. They might need to do some chipping. We need to have some sort of regulation that takes into account the residents and their quality of life. And the Planning Commission did a good job trying to reach that balance. We need that water tower. We needed to blast up there. The people at Nicholas Drive, I understand that. There's been a little bit of blasting, but the rest of it is steel and backing up noise and stuff like that. I just want to make sure everybody understands that the bedrock removal ordinance, right, doesn't have anything to do with the Wheeler development that some people are here tonight that are opposed to both. And I want to make sure that we divorce those two from each other in your mind, because the bedrock removal applies to the entire city. And I mean, we've had to have chipping done right here on Market Street to correct an intersection, and it went on all day long. But it was a requirement by the developer to be able to make that change to that intersection. These regulations put in place a framework that we didn't have before at all. So the DRB gets to hear when there's something proposed that might not be acceptable, and if it's going to go beyond a week, then you need a plan, and that plan will then be voted on by the DRB. And you've heard that there's another layer on top if the City Council wants to appeal that. So I support the amendments as they are, and I think...
Can I make a recommendation just for I don't want to make another speech.
Right, we're out of the public hearing, but I'll let you make one comment, Jimmy.
Okay, so Lori brought up a point that he wanted to, I think it was that he wanted to make sure that the general provision could be applied if there was an issue. And so I would recommend that these two documents, the LDR and the ordinance, be amended to say that the general prohibition in the noise ordinance applies if there's a conflict. That would be very short and sweet, just to make sure. And of course, when the Planning Commission comes back with its update that has all the bells and whistles, maybe we wouldn't need that anymore. But until then, it would be prudent to not just hope that a court even if you don't have it in writing, it doesn't really apply in a court. We found that out. So it should be in writing that the general provision applies in case there's a conflict. Thank you.
Thank you. So what's the council's pleasure?
Can I make a comment about
Sure.
TDRs? So just Paul, a question for you. So thank you for just for the public. I had asked Paul Connors whether it was possible for this set of amendments, and just background, what the amendments do, aside from noise, there's lots of other elements to these proposed amendments. One of them is to allow additional height in buildings.
Andrew?
Yes?
I was just going to ask, before we move on to that, can we finish with the noise piece?
Oh, I thought we were done, but if there's more
I
comments
didn't
about
think
noise?
we were quite done yet. Sorry.
We do
least
have
I-
one person online that wants to make a comment.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Let them go
So,
first.
Ann
I just
Moore-
want to make sure we were finished
Yeah.
this piece.
Ann Moore, can you hear us? Looks like you're muted right now.
I don't want to make a comment.
Oh, okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay. So I just wanted to add that I think what Jimmy said at the end there makes sense, having it clear that the noise ordinance does not get disavowed by something that's been done by the DRB. I don't know that that needs to happen right now. I think that we're in good shape. I think that having this conversation on the record is really important because it really speaks to why we're doing this and what the council's intention is. And if there's a big project that comes forward that has a tremendous amount of blasting or chipping or et cetera involved, this is on the record that people can go back to when they're talking to the DRB about the plan that's being approved. And with that, I'm comfortable with moving forward with what's on the record right now and knowing that the Planning Commission is going to be doing additional work on it.
Thanks, Lori. So do we want to make a motion to approve these LDRs?
I'd like to get to my TDR point.
You want to go on to TDRs? Go on.
Good. Are we good with noise?
Done with the noise.
Okay. So what these amendments do, among other things, is allow additional floors, right? City center, basically from Williston Road, a little bit across Williston Road, down basically to the north end of the middle school. Allow the heights to go from what are today maybe 5 or 6 stories to between 12 and 14 stories. And I had asked our Director of Planning and Zoning whether it would be possible to require developers to purchase TDRs to access that additional height. Now, a TDR, transferable development right, is something that we have as a city and is developed by municipalities to basically ensure fairness in zoning. So basically, if you zone one area as conservation can't be developed, and you zone another area 12, 14 stories, potentially giving owners, potentially a lot of money. I'm not a developer, but I could see a developer getting all that additional height being very valuable. The TDR is a way of transferring that value to be fair among the owners of property in your city. So the developer has to give some of that value to the folks who can't develop by buying a TDR. We have a TDR scheme in the city. I think there's several hundred, maybe more still outstanding, being sold very, very slowly. We had 2 women come to our meeting last time saying they've been holding their TDRs for 19, 20 years, and they need their money. They, I guess, can't sell them, haven't been able to sell them. They want us to buy them, I can imagine other folks might be thinking the same, and I think it's only fair to have this system in place where you benefit one group and you constrain another group, and you have this way of equalizing, right, what the city's doing. So Paul, you mentioned, I guess, why we didn't consider TDRs. Did the Planning Commission explicitly talk about it and reject it? I'm just curious what the process was.
Sure. So I checked in with my staff just to be sure. And in this round of updates, there was not an active discussion of whether to use TDRs.
So
in the past, there has been a discussion in the.
Okay. I would like, I'm in favor of these rules now, but I would like to ask the Planning Commission to consider a further amendment where they provide an additional use of the TDRs we already have in respect of this additional height that we're providing. So, and I'm hopeful that if we all agree and we direct the planning commission to do that, developers won't say, hey, if I have to buy TDRs now and didn't have to do them yesterday, it's a Fifth Amendment issue, right? Takings issue. But if we say it and developers know that we're working on it, it can come in the months to follow without giving us a problem. So that's what I'd like to do.
There were already some regulation changes on where TDRs could be used back a couple years ago, right?
That's right. You added them along Shelburne Road and the mixed industrial commercial areas for height in those areas.
Height, and was there also for
Height
density?
and lot coverage also.
Lot coverage,
Yeah.
but not density?
Well, we don't calculate density any longer
Okay.
as a units per acre. So this is the manner in which it's an amount of square footage. So it's for each 2,000 square feet of building bulk for whatever size your building is going up.
And so you're requesting that they look at extending that a little bit further by
to this, yeah. And as I recall on those amendments, it was complicated because you can also get height through inclusionary, and so there was this tension, and it wasn't clear whether a developer would ever want to access the TDRs for height. So my perspective on that set of amendments was that it's a work in progress and a TBD. And the fact that we haven't seen folks take advantage of that yet, I know it's still, young, and maybe we will, but the fact we haven't yet indicates to me that we probably need another avenue.
I'd like to add support to Andrew's suggestion, and through our land development regulations, we're trying to encourage development in certain areas and protect certain areas. When you protect a certain area, someone, quote, loses the value that may be inherent in that land. When you increase density on another piece of property, you increase that value. It's like a lottery. The person that owns that land all of a sudden has a lot more value. But that value really is there because we're trying to protect this piece of land. And the TDRs are really the mechanism that we currently have for being able to equalize that playing field. I understand, Paul, what you said about the TIF district and trying to encourage the TIF development and not wanting to put roadblocks or barriers in the way of moving that forward. But at the same time, if we want to provide value for those people whose land is being preserved, we need to have a way to use those TDRs. And in the city of Burlington, they rezoned the light industrial area to housing, one of the largest increases of value in land that I've seen in my history in Vermont. And then the landowner comes back and says, well, I can't do the development unless you provide the infrastructure for me because it doesn't pencil out. We need to find a way to balance this so that we can actually have those TDRs be effective and have people feel good about what's happening. So I hope that we can look at that and move forward.
Yeah, if I can speak, I can't speak to the history of the TDRs, but I do believe the origin of these LDR changes was prefaced on the state regulations on improving housing stock. And we have a specific city plan requirement that looks at density of housing in city center, along with the next sort of 9 to 10 year repayment of the TIF district funding. So I feel like adding a criteria on what the Planning Commission has already recommended now serves really as an obstacle to those dense housing goals that we've established through city plan, and that may become opportunities for enhancing housing stock within South Burlington, consistent with the CCRPC goals and the state goals for additional housing.
The TDR program has been around for a long time, right? And many TDRs have been purchased by developers for different developments in the southeast quadrant already. Not all have been purchased. Many are owned by a land trust, right? And there was never any guarantee by the city that a particular landowner's TDRs would be purchased by a developer. But I'm in support of extending the potential of purchasing TDRs for other areas of the city outside the southeast quadrant, right? So, I mean, it makes sense to try and open as many avenues as possible for these folks to receive remuneration for their property. So that's directive. I don't mind making that to the planning commission at all. So that in conjunction with where we are now, did you have anything else?
I said I have two things.
Two things, and I think I heard two things. So, do we need a motion for the TDR?
Yeah. Oh,
do you want to do that
TDRs?
Afterwards, or do you want
TDRs?
it rolled up into one?
Oh, I'll make a motion with it. Yeah.
Well, do we need to approve the?
I'll move it with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I move to adopt amendments to land development regulations LDR 25-01 through LDR 25-07 and official map OM 25-01 and direct the planning commission to consider the use of transferable development rights going forward in connection with the additional height provided therein.
Paul, are you saying everything?
It entirely up to you, but you could do it as one motion, or you could do it as two separate motions. If some of you
Is there a preference?
Just if some of you may agree with parts of it, not all parts of it.
Good point.
Okay. I'll amend then, so we can have it clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me fine. I move to direct the planning commission to further consider the use of transferable development rights in connection with proposed regulations LDR-2501 through LDR-25-07.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that?
If the motion passes, I would like to ensure in some way that council understands what other priorities may come off the list or be delayed further by this directive.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So Elizabeth voted nay. The rest voted. It's 4-1. The motion passes.
So I move to adopt amendments to the land development regulations LDR 25-01 through LDR 25-07 and official map OM 25-01.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. Well, one of you. So now we are on to item 9, which is hold a second reading and public hearing on an update to the nuisance ordinance with Paul Connor again, and, well, Colin McNeil's replacement.
Or his very own person, Deputy City Attorney Jared Pellard.
Did we explain why Colin isn't here tonight?
Well, we could explain that. You want to explain that?
I don't want to embarrass him, but he's not here because it's his 50th birthday.
Wow,
And
the big 5-0.
he was present for a meeting before this meeting, and I wish him well on his birthday.
We sang happy birthday to him, all of us, and he loved it. And then we ate cake.
So just by way of a very brief introduction, because this is a public hearing, the bulk of the amendments in here are moving things that were in the land development regulations performance standards and putting them more properly in the nuisance ordinance, because the types of activities that are being moved are sort of one-offs as opposed to things that are functionally a part of a development or part of an ongoing business and machine process or something. Two exceptions to that are the prohibition of noise resulting from the removal of bedrock between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. and an introductory statement under section 1452 where it says the following acts which enumeration shall not be deemed to be exclusive are declared to be a noise disturbances, and then the new section, a public nuisance and a violation of this article. So that was a recommendation of legal counsel to be clear that it is not just noise disturbance, but that it is a violation, and then it goes on to list what those things are. So, anything?
You covered it all.
So we need a motion to open the public hearing?
So I move to read the ordinance by title, Nuisance Ordinance Chapter 14, Article 2 of the City Code, and open the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. We are now in a public hearing. Who would like to speak first? Jimmy has his hand up. Come on up, Jimmy.
Well, Lori Smith brought up an area of conflict or possible interpretation. And my experience is that it's going to be to the detriment of public health and safety if the wording of the ordinance remains without a small amendment. And it seems that it is possible, given what we just experienced 2 minutes ago with the motion by Andrew Chalnick for the City Council, to make an amendment to the wording of the ordinance. So what I'd like to suggest is that the ordinance wording that is amendment that adds a limit on only one limit to daytime hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is likely to be interpreted by the court as an exclusion from the general provision of the noise ordinance, which protects public health and safety. So it's going to be an exception because it doesn't have any other exclusion. It doesn't have any other limits. So the only limit that the court will enforce is this limit for jackhammering. The only limit for jackhammering that the court will enforce will be the one for daytime, that allows daytime jackhammering. But no matter how long it lasts, in weeks, months, or year, and no matter how loud it is, the city won't be able to go into court, as it did in 2023, and tell the developer to stop. Because you're opening the door to the court. They're not going to care what your intent is. They're going to only look at what it says. So if you have the skill and you have the ability to write what you intend, if you decline to write it, the court will say, well, they didn't take advantage of the opportunity to put it in writing, and we don't see it there, so how could we interpret it to be there? So you have the choice to say in this, a few more words in this amendment to the noise part, that nothing in this, that the general provision applies for consideration of noise level and duration. So, and I think the general provision would protect public health and safety throughout South Burlington from jackhammering if that small addition, which is the intent of Lori, at least Lori on the council and probably others as well, was put into express language. And maybe, Andrew, you can help to improve the language I'm suggesting, which is that nothing, that the general provision applies for loudness and duration. Thank you.
identify yourself again.
Thanks for the reminder. My name is Amanda Hannaford. I live in South Burlington, and I actually have questions and not comments. So based on the previous development that we have all referenced, it was bone jarring. One of the things I remembered is that the developer had a permit to do a certain duration, but they did not complete it during that duration. So my understanding was that it was extended a number of times. Am I right about that? And I'm wondering if that will be the case with this new ordinance. If, let's say, there's a permit, if for a week of rock crushing or chipping, and the developer would then come. So these are all questions. Would the developer then come back and say, "I didn't finish it, so I need another week or I need another month," and would that be granted, or would that be then considered excessive? So. Because I know one thing that developers do is they minimize the impact, and then you've already started, so you have to keep going. So
the development regulations we just passed, so that's gone. Now we're on the nuisance ordinance, which specifically
nuisance,
is
that noise ordinance. Oh, well, I still have a question. Is
no,
that
I know.
okay?
Right, but the developer part, I mean, we can't talk about that.
The nuisance, yeah.
So what's your question now?
Well, could you answer that question in terms of what was just passed?
I don't want to go back into the previous regulation discussion because we already we thoroughly went over that.
Okay, sorry, I was confused about
That's okay.
the various noise things. Okay, yeah, I think my other question was also regarded outsourcing health damages. So how would I find that? When can I ask those questions and where?
Call us. You can contact me or Paul whenever you'd like.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody online? Does Jean have her hand up again? Jean, can you hear us again? And it looks like, there you go.
But I don't know if I'm, it's Jeannie Zagurski. I don't know if I'm talking about the right subject matter at this point. So if I start talking and I'm not, you can stop me, I guess.
Sure.
Really do understand the balance you are all referring to. But to date, I feel like so many of us have tried to be supportive and communicate as best we know how with our representatives, which are the council, because you are all here to represent the South Burlington residents and our voice. But it seems that many of us are getting a little frustrated, and I'm trying to figure out how to get past this. I mean, above and again, stop me if I'm on the wrong path, but above and beyond the many petition signers that we had recently in opposition to the Willer parcel build out, there have been so many others that have taken the time to speak up at these meetings and share their opposition to the unhealthy noise and ask that you add regulations and standards to the noise ordinance where there are existing homes and, areas of frequent use. It was mentioned earlier that the recent water tower work was just a bit of blasting, but I mean, I live pretty close to that. And not only did they blast for weeks, that by the way, shook our house. It shook our house. I can't even explain it. It literally stopped your heart twice a day. I'm sitting here working from home and my heart stopped. I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm not a dramatic person. It's awful. It's just awful. And we had jackhammering after that for weeks after that. They didn't expect to do it. I understand that they have things that pop up they're not aware of and that they end up having to jackhammer or whatnot. I understand the process, but it's unbelievably disturbing. And I don't think anybody realizes how bad it is unless you actually live through it. It's awful. So for noise anywhere in the city that are near homes and other areas of human use, like we mentioned before, I just don't think it's okay for us to ignore what we've been asking for and instead really support us and stop delaying protection, you know, and put the standards in, put the regulations in, and don't put it on hold because the DRB pushes back. So that's where I'm at. And again, I apologize if I talked out of turn or out of subject matter, but I'm frustrated, and I think others are as well. So I appreciate your time and your efforts. I always do. But I hope that we can get to a better place here with all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. We're trying to work towards that. And I think the previous regulations that were passed are an improvement over nothing. And the Planning Commission's been charged with further refinement of those regulations to increase those protections. We have a nuisance ordinance here, which is intended to make some improvements as well. Nothing changes completely overnight in municipal government. So, and we're a 5-person council, and I think between us and the incredible work that the staff does and their workload, that we're doing the best we can. And on top of that, there are construction requirements in the city, and someone's going to live nearby. We're trying to make that as bearable as possible. I mean, when I moved into the cider mill, there were no houses around me, and I had to live with construction of 5 houses immediately around me for about a year. And, you know, sometimes it was annoying, and some other times it wasn't. So I know how people feel. I don't know what it was like to live up on Golf Course Road in 2020, but I did hear some of that chipping from a pretty far distance away, and I can imagine what that was like. And that's one of the things that that these regulations previous were passed to stop. So, any other comments?
No, I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jean. Ashley again, right?
Ashley Rooks. I just want to make sure the chicken ordinance is not getting worked into this as far as I can read, right? Because since the police don't, so.
Did you say the chicken ordinance?
The noise ordinance for that, since both the police say that planning and zoning is in charge of enforcement, and planning and zoning say the police is in charge of enforcement.
I don't think chickens are in here, are they?
Okay, just making sure.
Different
since
thing.
we were consolidating. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, nothing. Nobody else? Last one.
I was told that the waterfowl was not allowed, and then I was told
We're not talking about.
Let's you and I have an offline conversation about other ordinances later on.
Okay. I love chickens, by the way. Just
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. So that's item 9. Now we go to item 10, which is possible action on an update to the nuisance ordinance. And does council have any discussion?
I have one comment that comes from a young constituent in the town, my 2 granddaughters, who under 1452 express prohibitions number 7, they would like assurance that ice cream trucks are excluded from that, Paul.
I would like to exclude some of the songs that the ice cream trucks play.
You mean include?
I'm tired of them.
Is that an actual question? Is that an actual question? Ice cream trucks
I'm
themselves.
assuming that there are some commercial advertising or attraction of the public that are
Ice cream
tolerated.
trucks themselves are more than welcome to be on the streets. However, we do not allow the repetitive song that goes on and on and on and on and on. That's actually in the peddler's ordinance, but
Oh, that's in the peddler's license?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So I'll be asking
I
for their
did not
peddler's
know
license
that.
number when they come to my neighborhood, right?
I did not know that.
There's not much enforcement on that one.
hard to track.
Thank you. That was a somewhat serious question.
Can I ask our deputy city attorney his perspective on whether the change which specifically prohibits bedrock removal between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. would be interpreted by the courts as eliminating the general prohibition during the day of unreasonable noise.
For chipping and bedrock removal.
Respectfully, Councillor Chelnick, I think it's hard for me to give an opinion as to how the courts would specifically interpret that. I mean, I think in any court case, as you know, it's based on the factual presentation of the incident and question before the court. So it would be hard for me to give a direct black and white answer there on this.
Do you think that there is a way we can usefully improve this to ensure that the court would apply the general standard during the day and not give carte blanche during the day?
I think that if there's direction from the whole council for myself and Colin to go back and look at that, I think that there's room always to do further research and to dig into things. But right here tonight, I don't think I could give you a direct answer.
It would be useful to know that what we've done here is not given carte blanche during the day.
I would like to see us, I would like to approve this with a request of council to look at wording that can be added to ensure that that general protection stays in place.
If needed.
If needed.
Yeah.
That's a motion.
So are you asking that we not approve these tonight?
No, I'm asking that we approve them and that we make a motion to ask council to add the language to ensure that the daytime prohibition still exists.
Would that, hold on. You want to make it up?
You're saying ask legal counsel.
Yes.
To then
Yeah,
bring
not
back
this council, legal
another
counsel.
revision in the future?
Well, we just did a revision to the LDRs when we did them, when we approved them, and I'm asking that we do the same thing with this.
What revision did we make with, what do you?
We made the revision around TDRs.
Yeah.
And we made
Well,
the revision.
those were just orders to the planning commission only. That's.
Yes, so
and
this
that
is,
would force
this is
another
approving,
version.
this is approving it and asking council to do so,
Okay.
asking legal counsel to do something.
Which then could bring another version to us in the future. That's what
Yes.
you're saying.
Possibly.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, my own perspective would probably be we don't need anything, but I would ask our legal counsel to look at
To
that.
come back to
Okay.
us.
To look at
Yes.
it.
Yeah, okay. I'm okay with that.
I'm just, based on what council just said, what I heard council just say is, I really can't say what courts would do. So on some level, whether we ask them to come back or not, we can't be sure what courts would do.
Well, unless you add language clarifying. And that's the question. Do we need language?
But we could
clarifying?
add the language to reinforce what we're expecting.
You could
Well,
say, for instance, notwithstanding.
Which will not guarantee what courts will
No,
do.
but you could say, notwithstanding the prohibition during, 5 to 8, the general standard still applies. And the question is whether we need to do something or not. That's all.
Can I clarify what we're asking legal to do?
Yes.
I would ask our legal counsel to look at the nuisance ordinance, to let us know if any clarifying language is needed to ensure that the general standard against unreasonable noise still applies during the day for bedrock removal.
And to come back with that language if it's needed.
Okay. So do we want to make a motion on that?
Do we need to? I move to pass the nuisance ordinance as amended with the clarification just discussed.
I'll second.
And by as amended, you mean as presented?
As presented.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Does anybody need a break?
Yes.
The answer is yes. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be back to do some interviews with the candidates for committees. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to continue with item 11, which is interviews with candidates for one vacancy on the Economic Development Committee, 2 vacancies on the Sextons, and 1 vacancy on the Energy Committee. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 applications, and we have a spreadsheet here of the names for the different committees, so we're just going to go down from the top to the bottom if that's okay. So, Srini, are you online? Is he there? No. Here he is. Yep, I see him. He's got his hand up. We'll get you in a second. Nice picture.
I think I can even make him movable.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yep.
All right. Do I need to turn the video on or something, or?
If you can, yeah, if you can.
Are you
Let me see. This is.
Hold on a
It's
second.
giving only an audio option for me, so.
Maybe not.
Okay.
This is what you get.
All right.
So, Srini, you're applying for the Economic Development Committee, and you are already on it, right?
No, my term ended in June of 2025.
Oh, it did. Okay, and so
Yeah.
you're reapplying for this position, but
Yes.
you had been on it for how long?
I've been on it since 2021, so 4 years.
4 years. Okay. All right. Do you want to tell us why you want to go back and serve on it again?
Yeah, I think I've been an active member of the EDC since 2021. Early on, I participated in the climate change task force and helped develop the climate action plan for the South Burlington city. And I have played a significant role in, stressing the importance of a economic development plan-led growth strategy for the city. And I've been part of all the discussions, since the justification came about to get the funding for this. And over the last 6 months or so, since we have had the engagement with Civic Soul, I have been quite active as well and helped the consultants as well as the team think about specific strategies that is important to South Burlington. And I would like to continue that role and take the economic development plan to the next phase of clearly communicating priorities and actually taking on some specific responsibilities as part of the Economic Development Committee to work on some of these initiatives.
Srini, some council members haven't interviewed you before, I don't think. You want to give them some of your background?
Yeah, let's see. I worked for 28 years in a corporate role for a major specialty materials company out of Boston. I don't know, the last 10 or 12 years of my career, I worked as a general manager of the business. I managed the business in Southeast Asia. So we were based overseas for 5 years. And I have an engineering background, but I haven't done anything close to engineering in a very, very long time. But I've done quite a bit of work, not just for the city, but also for other nonprofits on different boards, as well as in NGOs. Since I retired in 2017. I probably spend about, 50 to 60% of my time supporting, civic duty type work and also supporting other nonprofits. Most recently, I was a member of the advisory committee for the Clean Heat Standard at the state level, working with the Public Utility Commission to come up with equity standards for the Clean Heat Standard program, which has been shelved for now. But I was quite active for all through 2024. I was active on that. So,
thank you. Councilors have any questions?
Srini, it's Elizabeth. I had a question. I have so appreciated and respected the work the Economic Development Committee has done in working with Civic Soul on the plan that was presented and approved by Council the last meeting we had. What excites you most about the plan that was presented, and what do you want to see move forward sooner versus later?
Well, I think what the consultants have helped anchor the city on is a very coherent and a credible story around innovation that we need to leverage. And I also believe that the consultants have given us a framework for pulling different pieces of the economic development in one place, so that we have a coherent set of activities or initiatives that the city can focus on and be a clear leader. I mean, we heard from the consultants that what South Burlington is trying to do is getting the attention of the state. I don't think even at the state level they have had this type of thoughtful, coordinated initiative. And I really think that there is a lot to be done here. And I think Nicole spoke at the meeting where the council passed the economic development plan. And I really believe that the committee members have a lot of skill set to offer and can help the city beyond policy development in moving forward these initiatives. So that's what I'm excited about, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any councilors have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, Ann.
Thank you. I'm Councilman Pugh, and I didn't know you before. And I guess maybe building on Councilor Fitzgerald's question, in terms of economic development in South Burlington, in particular the city center, if you were in charge, what are the two things that you would have us do moving forward to promote the city center?
Yeah, thank you, Anne. I'm not sure whether I have met you before, but I've come across your name through various of the state representative interactions. I actually highlighted this in the one of the key principles that I was asked to comment on. I really think that South Burlington could use some specific programs to actually leverage the infrastructure we have to attract some diverse activity in the city center as well as around the city. What I mean by that is, I'm an immigrant in the community, and there is, I don't see a lot of immigrant-based activities in South Burlington activities. And I actually believe that if the South Burlington City promotes the infrastructure and makes the spaces available, we can really promote more diversity around city center, including business ownership, I believe. So that's a really good opportunity for South Burlington.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other questions? No? Good. Well, Srini, thanks for reapplying. And, when I don't know when we're going to have a chance to, probably next meeting, executive session. So at the next meeting,
No, you have an executive session tonight.
Oh, tonight. We do.
But you will approve at your next meeting.
Yes. Okay. So, yes. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay, good. And,
Thanks, Rudy.
And you'll be informed one way or the other.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for taking the time to chat with me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Next is Harold Hirschberg. Come on down. Is the little green light on?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. So good evening. So thanks for applying to the Environment and Economic Development Committee. That committee is really hot right now because they there's a lot of stuff going on. They just got a strategic plan, pushed through, and so there's a lot of interest going on. So tell us about yourself and why you'd like to be on the committee.
Yes, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with the council this evening. I am new to Vermont, new to South Burlington. My wife and I moved here 2 years ago from Atlanta. She's from Atlanta, I'm from New Orleans, so we're definitely Southerners living in New England, so we're loving it. And what drew us to Vermont, and especially to South Burlington, was the opportunity to see how you can, enjoy the public spaces and really work towards how you're balancing both renewable energy, accessibility, diversity, and equity across the city, and would love to contribute and offer my expertise. Currently, I work for a fintech edtech software company that I oversee government relations across 14 states, where I really work hard to identify new procurement opportunities and to really leverage how the company I represent in the best position to open new opportunities, which I think I could leverage that experience for this position. Earlier in my career, I worked in Atlanta, Georgia, doing international diplomatic work, where I worked exclusively with government and economic development agencies and chambers of commerce, a lot of advocacy and interpersonal communication. I think that was something that was really unique, so that to kind of provide new international trade relationships and opportunities. And what really drew me to this position, which I really appreciate the speaker before, but the work that has been happening, especially with peer cities and how there's kind of bringing together opportunities and partnerships to develop new opportunities for the city. And that is something that I'm really interested in. I have a specific background when it comes to aerospace, water technology, and agri-technology. That was what I was doing earlier in my career. Currently in my career, like I said, I work in the fintech and education technology space, where I work at the state and local government level.
Thank you. Councilors have specific questions?
I have my question.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Thank you. First of all, welcome to South Burlington. I've lived here for more than 2 years and I love it. And I hope that you will come to love it as much as I do. What is relatively new to South Burlington is the concept of a city center. We are here right now. From your experience or your thoughts, what are 2 things that the city could do to promote the further development of the identity of the city center?
Yes, thank you for that question. And actually, right before we moved here, I saw, I think, a little bit of a video about the development for the city center, and it's beautiful, and we love the library. But I think what I said earlier, what I would love to see is also to provide a bigger voice and showcase to what all has been invested and growing in this area, and if that's the surrounding areas outside of surrounding states, also working to provide new opportunities for businesses. I'm fortunate to where I work and my wife works remotely. It is a smaller ecosystem now, but I think I could leverage my network to show that there's opportunities to have a live-work balance experience in the city center, and the opportunities right where there's a lot of already existing retail opportunities. Would love to see engaging with the community to say, hey, these are opportunities to also have retail spaces as well as living spaces, so it'd be community engagement. I hope that answers your question. Thank you. And I live nearby. I'm in the Laurel Hill area. I forgot to mention that. Thank you.
What brought you to South Burlington?
So in all honesty, it was my wife. She has very close ties for Vermont. So, but when we first came here, we actually were we were renting earlier in the Laurel Hill area, and being right here, close to everything, and having the connectivity, but also having the ability, as you mentioned, being able to get on your bike and drive everywhere. And what did it for me also when we were here was the overlook, where you can go up and just see the beauty, as well as be also in a business center or community center where you have accessibility to different types of resources, but also having the green space and the opportunity to really just enjoy the environment and give back to those areas.
May I ask what Class Wallet is or what it does?
Yes, so that's my current employer. They are like I said, it's a fintech ed tech company where they provide ways to reduce, I guess, paperwork, you could say, for education grants and helping teachers when it comes to providing classroom supplies, streamlining the payment system on the back end. So we provide digital solutions when it comes to any public funds currently. So in addition to education, we've also had the opportunity to work and create new opportunities for government when it comes to early child care and vocational rehabilitation. So there's no reimbursement. We're providing these digital wallets that have, if it's a stipend or a scholarship, in their ecosystem.
Cool. Elizabeth, any questions?
No, thank you.
Anybody else? Lori?
No, thank you for applying.
You're familiar with how often the committee meets and the time commitment?
I am familiar from what I've researched, but that would be one question I would actually, you read my mind, that would be one question I did have, if that would be appropriate to have this now, or I can follow up.
Okay. So it's once a month?
It's once a month, and second Wednesday, maybe that's bike ped. It's
Wednesdays or Wednesdays?
Is it September 9th is the next one?
Second
Tuesday
of the month at 5.
Second Tuesday. Yeah, second Tuesday.
Yes, that is that's something I have the commitment to do and interest to do, so I would be available to participate in person for all those sessions.
Have you had the opportunity to attend a meeting yet at all?
I have not.
Okay, all right. Good. You have any questions for us procedurally, or?
I think you answered it in the last interview,
Okay.
and then you also read my mind about my one question with the commitment, but those are my 2 questions. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for applying. Really appreciate it, and we will let you know one way or the other.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, thanks. Next up is Paige Brochu. Paige is online, right?
I'm gonna see if I can promote panelists. So she's
Paige, can you hear us? Oh, you're muted now. Oh, you're back.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. How are you tonight?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. So sorry I couldn't be there in person. We just got back from vacation and I brought home the souvenir that just keeps on giving, which is COVID. So figured I would stay home, not infect anyone, but happy to be here. So thank you.
Great. You want to tell us a little bit about your background and why you're applying for the EDC?
Sure, yeah. So currently I work as the director of the Spatial Analysis Lab at the University of Vermont. And I'm also a faculty member there. But my partner and I have really lived in South Burlington for, the better part of the past decade. We made it our home after we graduated UVM, and then I went off to graduate school down in Boston, but South Burlington just drew me back, and really seeing the resilience that South Burlington has had, I think, through just the COVID pandemic was just really wonderful. So definitely making kind of South Burlington our home. And my background's really in public health, environmental resilience, and mapping. So a lot of connections and network with kind of folks in the STEM field. And then also, working at the University of Vermont, seeing just like the next generation of, these experts that are graduating, and a lot of them want to stay in the Vermont area, the Burlington, the South Burlington area. And so really trying to figure out ways that we can, keep the students here that want to stay here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Questions from counselors?
I have a question. Paige, this is Councilperson Pugh. I used to teach at UVM, so I have a fondness for that. But my question to you really relates to our developing city center. And as a member of the, as a potential member of the Economic Development Committee, what would your first 2 priorities be in terms of further developing and supporting a city center?
Yeah, well, thank you. I think one thing that's already kind of in the works, but I would love to see more of, is really some pedestrian and active transportation infrastructure. So I know that that's already kind of a high priority, but really making that, I think there's going to be that pedestrian cross bridge, right, between kind of Burlington and South Burlington, that would actually make it more safer to bike or walk from that South Burlington kind of city center area over to Burlington. And I feel like that That barrier right now feels very big, even though, it's only maybe a quarter of a mile. So I think that is really wonderful. I love to see also all of that green space that the previous interviewer also just mentioned. I think that's really huge. And then thinking about community events, right? So post-COVID, we're seeing folks now starting to come out of the woodwork again and actually talk with one another, meet their neighbors. And so I think kind of just having more community events in that city center area to really just make it thrive, right? So thinking about maybe street markets. I know downtown Burlington has kind of a Christmas market, but maybe there's something along the lines of doing a holiday market in the South Burlington area that could really showcase just local businesses, local business owners, and then maybe even bringing in, K through 12 kind of education events as well, just to, again, just really make that city center someplace that people want to go to and connect with their neighbors.
Thank you.
One other thing I just want to note, there's also always room for more places to eat really great food. So I'm always always down for maybe there's like a fun way that we can have that involved as well.
Elizabeth, you had a question?
Hi, Paige. It's Elizabeth Fitzgerald. I know you've participated in some of the Economic Development Committee meetings, and I recall you making some comments at the last one. Some of the elements of the Economic Development Strategic Plan included networking and career pathing, and I'm probably forgetting others, but I think you had some comments around those areas. Can you kind of speak to those from your perspective?
Yeah, of course. So I've attended 2 of the Economic Development Committee meetings in the past, which were really great. One, just to meet kind of committee members and just to start, understanding what this could actually mean. So reading through that larger comprehensive plan, there was a few strategies and actions that I really felt as though, one, either I had input on or could help facilitate. Right. So working at the University of Vermont, we have just so many resources there. And then seeing also all the resources that we have available to us in South Burlington, I think one is really being able to connect with not only just young professionals, myself included, but also just the Vermont Professionals of Color Network. Right. So thinking about how we can kind of get South Burlington to really be more equitable when we think of how we can just make people feel, one, that they're wanted and that they belong in South Burlington, but also that they can thrive there. I think another thing too is being in kind of the GIS spatial analysis world. There's a lot of really great connections that I have with the South Burlington Data Management Office and their GIS folks as well. So some of those strategies in that plan included, looking at infrastructure and mapping out different resources, and that's like my bread and butter that I work with. Also thinking about other networking, I believe one of the strategies was around how South Burlington can be a leader, right, in Vermont. And one of the things that I was thinking was coming from public health, the environmental hazards that we face, flooding, air pollution, wildfire smoke that we had in, July this year, that was kind of wild. But those don't really follow administrative boundaries, right? And South Burlington has a lot of resources that we can offer, one, our own kind of residents here, but maybe also resources that we can offer kind of a sister city, right, or sister town in Vermont. Then that way we're kind of expanding our network, but also really building up other areas in Vermont with the resources that we have here. I think that answered your question. I hope so.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Paige, do you know when the committee meets, and do you have the time to commit to it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have you attended? You've attended some of their meetings before. You just said, yeah. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so I've attended the past 2 meetings, and I believe it's the second Tuesday of every month.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Yep.
Any other questions, counselors? No. Okay. Well,
thank you.
Paige, thank you very much for applying, and you'll hear from us one way or the other.
Great. Well, thank you for your time.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
All right, next is James Kennedy. Come on down, James. Is it James or Jim?
Either's fine.
Which do you prefer?
I prefer Jim.
Okay. Good evening, Jim. Welcome. I think the microphone is on, so it's great. You want to tell us about yourself and why you want to be on the committee?
Yeah, I will say.
Jim, I think you need to hit the button so the light turns.
It's on now.
There
Sorry,
you go.
my apologies. I'm open to any committee, I will say. My specialty would probably be with the sexton part, though. For the last 20 plus years, I've been a funeral director and embalmer. I owned 13 locations across the state of Vermont and sold off the whole thing 2 years ago. So a little bit of knowledge there.
Okay, so you're more interested in sextons.
I am.
That's okay. We'll interview you right now for sextons.
That or energy are the two.
Okay, or energy. Okay. Do you know what the sextons do?
I do.
Okay. Wow. How do you know that?
Might have had just a little experience talking to them in the past.
Yeah. Have you visited our two cemeteries in South
I
Burlington?
have been in both of those many times.
You have many times. Okay, great. And so you've owned and operated several funerals?
Yeah, we had, let's see here, 9 funeral homes, 2 crematories, a monument company, and a couple other smaller things.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. All right. So you know the business.
I know the business.
Inside, well, just say from the outside.
Let's say from the outside. Big picture, big picture. Yeah, I don't like to be boxed in.
I won't say why we have a fence around. We do have a fence around the Eldridge Cemetery, but I won't say why we have it because that's the worst joke in the world.
It sure is.
It really is. Okay. So, were you able to attend the sexton's cleaning?
I wasn't
Okay.
the last couple. Yeah.
That was really attended. I didn't go, but I heard that a lot of great work was done and a lot of progress was made at Eldridge, right?
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, they definitely are looking better and need additional help.
Okay. Now, so going back to the Economic Development Committee, all right, is there something there that you think you could contribute?
But the main thing I focus on there is the small business, especially with the center. You have all these open spaces, but no one's doing a ton of research, reach out to all the small independent companies. It's kind of everybody's trying to rush, hoping everybody's going to rush in. You got to be out there knocking on doors and getting them coming to us, not them coming to us on their own. It's chasing.
And that's in City Center, you said?
City Center.
Yeah. So we have 3 restaurants at this point.
Yep, 3 restaurants. Scale,
Felino's,
and the Burger.
Bliss.
Please. Geez, my brain's just not working tonight. I apologize.
And you're aware that they meet once a month and it's a couple hours.
Yeah, that's all fine.
You can meet those. Okay. Any counselors have any other questions?
What would you
perhaps
like? What would you like to accomplish on the sextons?
I think it's a lot of it is beautification, but also restoration. You see some of the historic graves in there, and what you might not know if you're walking through is if you look at the ground, you'll see old stones that have sunk. They've toppled and sunk. And one thing is I'd love to see us get in there and actually restore those, bring them back out of the ground, see if we can get the lettering back to legibility. And otherwise, just a lot of maintenance that I've seen over the years that really needs help. Like I said, they've done a great job catching up, but it does have some additional needs.
Do you think they need a columbarium or a couple?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that in the next few years, that columbarium, especially for focusing on cremation columbarium, because there's the 2 types, of course, is the only way for it to be economically viable going forward.
And do you think the Shelburne Road Cemetery it could be viable again someday?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that, I also think that there's a spot where down the road, not now, to put in an additional cemetery, one that's focusing on green burials.
Oh.
I feel like there is a need in this county that is not being met.
Yeah.
And I think we have land and space that could continue to be a beautiful public area while also being a respectful green burial I don't know where, obviously, but
we have some land.
Do you have any experience with cemetery mapping software like
I do.
GIS software? You do? Okay.
Yeah, when I was in Florida, the funeral homes I was at down there, we had our own cemetery, and some of the records have been destroyed, I believe, in a hurricane. So we'd actually brought in mapping software to remap out where everybody was, and for the most part, we found most everybody we were missing.
Whether they wanted to be found or not.
Whether they wanted to be found or not, there are a few people who I know they didn't want us to find.
Anne, did you have a comment you want to make or a question?
I was a bit confused. I guess I need some clarity.
Yeah.
You also said you were interested in the Energy Committee?
Yeah. Only
speak to that.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the Energy Committee has done such a wonderful job of making us really carbon neutral as much as possible. But I'd love to see more infrastructure being focused on around additional green energies. Like I said, I'm more eloquent with the cemetery stuff, though.
Any other questions from counselors? No? So, like we said, everybody else, right? We'll let you know one way or the other. And thanks for applying. And we'll keep you in mind for these other positions.
Yeah, just let me know.
And thanks for coming tonight.
I appreciate it.
Right. Thank you. Now we're going to go to Beth Sigmund. Come on up. This is for a 2-year term expiring in 2027 on the Energy Committee. Good evening. Again.
Turn the light on.
Little green light at the base. No, push it again.
Oh, now it's on. It
Yeah.
It looks like it's on.
Bright green.
There's like some reflection from the lights above.
Yeah.
So I'm here to apply for the Energy Committee. That's correct.
Tell us why you want to be on the Energy Committee.
You'll have to forgive me first because I was on call all weekend, so I'm a little bit. It's late tonight, so and I worked all day. So if I stumble over my words, I apologize in advance. So I want to be on the Energy Committee because I think South Burlington has a really robust climate action plan. We have a climate action manager. I think we're really serious about meeting our climate goals, which includes obviously mitigation as well as resilience. Energy sort of spans both of those realms. I think, energy resilience is something that I would like to delve into, hopefully have some conversations with the climate action manager, if that's, something that the Energy Committee would be able to do. I should say that to start out, I would want to learn what they've been doing, what their current goals are. I have no intention of sort of rolling in there with high ideas about what we should be doing, but sort of learn what their current roadmap is. And again, pretty interested in energy resilience. I'd also be interested in learning how we are achieving the city's climate goals while also considering how to make sure that lower income people are able to take advantage of green energy and weatherization opportunities, because for those folks in particular, it's a win-win if they can get off of fossil fuel energy. And that would include, like I said, weatherization. Do those people have access, for example, people in big apartment buildings, do they have access to electric vehicle chargers? So there's a whole number of things that, that I could think of, being pretty passionate about. I should also mention, just to back up and tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a physician over at the hospital. I'm also faculty at the Larner College of Medicine up at UVM. I have a many years history of being involved in efforts to help address climate change. I've been on, I was a member of the Citizens Climate Lobby for many years. I even started a chapter in my old town in New Jersey. I've been on multiple national and local committees around climate and health. I've written numerous op-eds. I'm on the task force for the American College of Radiology on climate change and sustainability. I'm on the Medical Society Consortium for climate and health steering committee. So it's a real passion of mine. So, you know, I'm pretty serious about it. I know the city is serious about it. And I think I have some energy, not to use a pun. I didn't mean to use that pun, but I have a lot of energy around this. So the energy committee would be a good place for me, I think, among other committees. But yeah, of the current offerings.
Great. Questions? Ann,
Thank
questions?
you for stepping forward, Beth.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for hearing my spiel after you know, a long meeting. Okay.
So you're aware when they meet and
I
when
am.
they meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're coming to
yeah.
the fair.
It's Tuesdays,
So-
right?
Yes,
Tuesday
it is.
nights. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to relearn that because I've left one committee and gone back.
Yeah.
And you're going to the fair? Will you be here for the fair?
I don't know if I'm going to be here for the fair, but I know there's an energy fair coming up.
But you're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
excited about it. I'm excited about this. You know, I'm not excited about the problem that we're facing. To be real, you know, it's not an exciting problem. It's a very disturbing, harrowing problem. But I'm excited about actually, you know, doing things about it. So, anyway.
Anything else you want to throw in?
Anything else I want to throw in? No, just thank you for listening. And yeah, it's been a long meeting, so thanks.
It has been, and we'll let you go now, and we'll let you know one way or the other.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jean-Sébastien Cholot. Monsieur Cholot. Bonsoir, monsieur. Ça va? Ça va bien? You're muted. He's muted. He's muted.
He may not be right there.
Oh, not? Okay. Oh, maybe he went away.
You want to come back to him?
We can. All right. We will come back to you.
Oh, wait.
Wait,
no.
wait, can
Oh,
you hear me now?
There he is.
there he is.
Ah, here I am.
In the flesh.
And, yes.
Good evening, sir.
All right, yes, good evening.
How are you
Okay.
tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm
Good.
doing well.
Are you currently the chair of the NRCC?
No, I am no longer the chair
You're no
of
longer
the
the chair.
NRCC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
No longer
you're
part of the NRCC.
so you're applying for a brand new thing.
That's right. That's the Energy Committee.
Okay.
Are will you continue to be a member of the NRCC?
No, I am not a member of the NRCC. I plan on joining back, but not for the time being. Yep.
So some of the members don't know who you are, so give us some background information, please.
Yes, I'm Jean-Sébastien Cholot, as Tim said so eloquently. I've been a citizen of South Burlington since 2003. I've been a member and the chair of an NRCC for a few years. I don't remember exactly how many. And a member of the Public Art Committee. I work in IT at SimQuest. I'm a consultant and an account manager. And I'm very interested in energy conservation, natural resources conservation as well. And this opening and the Energy Committee actually matches very well what a city plan lists out, and something that really I think has a lot of overlapping and a lot of relation that could promote that city plan very strongly. So we'll see also as I've seen other places, like maybe you did, where there was a lot of energy conservation initiative and energy transition initiatives, and I think I can maybe dig into those memories or experience to help South Burlington getting to a stronger energy, I don't know if preservation, conservation, or maybe awareness status. I think communication on top of also measures, but communication is really a strong thing we need to do in South Burlington to promote energy conservation. And maybe one of the things is what energy is, and that it's something that should be kept and is finite.
Questions from councilors? Any at all?
Gonna miss you on the NRCC, Jean.
I'll come back. I miss you that too, actually. Yeah.
Is there something that in particular that you feel like you would like to accomplish with the Energy Committee in the future?
Yeah, collaboration. I mean, I work with at the Energy Festival in 2020, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and working with MJ. I mean, it's in communication. Let's put it in working. I think the thing I'd like to collaborate and to promote is information about energy conservation and energies in general, and how we can do a better job what we have today.
Great. And do you know people on the committee now?
Yeah, I know MJ.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's the only person I know personally.
All right. No other questions, council? All right. And you know the drill, right? We're going to decide tonight, but not vote on that until the following meeting. But then we'll let you know one way or the other.
Of course.
Well, thanks for applying, and thank you for your leadership on the NRCC. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you for all you do. You know that.
Au revoir.
All right, good night. Au revoir.
All right, next up we have Richard Thorngren. Come on down, Richard. Is it Richard or Dick? Richard. Richard, okay. And Richard, you're applying for, we have 2 terms on the sextons, a 2-year term and a 1-year term. And tell us why you would like to be a sexton.
Well, number one, I'm retired, so I have plenty of time and a flexible schedule. And why I would like to be a sexton, I love cemeteries. I think they're fascinating places. And it, disappoints me when I see a cemetery that is neglected or even abandoned. Not that ours are. However, they also, both of them need a little bit of help. And I'm happy to be a helper.
Were you able to participate in that July?
I was not, unfortunately. I was out of town.
Okay. Silly question. What is your favorite cemetery in Vermont?
In Vermont? Probably Lakeview in Burlington.
Lakeview?
Just because I love old garden cemeteries.
Yeah. Have you been to Hope in Barrie?
Well, Hope, of course. That kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
And I like the Greenmount Cemetery in Burlington, too, just because of the history that's there.
Have you been to the one at Middlebury College?
I have not.
It isn't that beautiful, but it has Stations of the Cross as you go in, and it has a big arch of arborvitae as you enter into it. So it's and then it has a beautiful view of the city.
I will check that out.
Yeah, when you're down there. You want to tell us about your background besides what you did before you retired?
I was a flight attendant for United Airlines for 32 years.
Oh,
and I've lived in South Burlington twice now. I've lived in Vermont 3 times. 1984 to 1988, then I moved away for a job, moved back in 1991 to South Burlington, left in 2002 for family reasons, and then moved back 2 years ago, June of 2023, and I'm here for good.
That's what we like to hear.
And no plans to leave.
But what we really want to know is how many frequent flyer miles do you have?
Quite a few.
Are you still using them?
I when needed. So.
When needed. Questions from councilors?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Have you been to the Vermont Forest Cemetery?
The Vermont Forest Cemetery?
Forest Cemetery, which is a green cemetery down in Ripton.
I have not. I'm not very familiar with green cemeteries other than, what I have read about its legalities and its procedures, but I've never actually visited one.
Okay. I
might also say that I'm a fan of local history, of all history really, but especially local history. And cemeteries are our history.
Yeah.
And so many of them are, even if they're not neglected, the gravestones are getting old. 150, 200 years of dealing with pollution and weather and just problems that, I'd like to see these things get taken care of and not neglected.
Thank you. I agree. I don't have any other questions. I just have one suggestion is that my favorite cemetery is Mount Auburn in Cambridge.
Yes.
Have you been there?
I have.
Yeah, that's just incredible. And it's it's on the PBS list of the 10 parks that made America parks famous. So, yeah, well, that's good that you've been.
Another fascinating cemetery, if you're in Massachusetts, is the Pine Grove Cemetery in Lynn.
In Lynn?
In Lynn, Mass.
Oh, interesting.
And my grandparents happen to be buried there. So I visit it, when I can.
Yeah.
And it's another garden-style cemetery, similar to Mount Auburn. Doesn't get the attention that Mount Auburn gets because it's in Lynn as opposed to Cambridge.
It's in Lynn.
But it is another Victorian garden-style cemetery and incredibly well-maintained by the city.
Well, thank you for that tip.
Yeah, okay. Happy to help.
Right. So, as you've heard with the other folks, we're going to decide tonight but not vote until the next meeting, and then you'll be told one way or the other.
Okay.
But thank you for applying. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll
Have
see
a good
you.
night.
Bye-bye. Next up is Elise Gayette online. Good evening. Looks like you're muted.
I have unmuted.
Now we can hear you. Good evening, Elise.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for applying to be a sexton. Tell us why you want to be a sexton.
Well, first of all, I'm a historian and I spend a lot of time in cemeteries. They're an incredible, valuable resource for the history of a town, as the gentleman just before me said. They have a lot of stories to tell, and I've spent a lot of time in them, especially during COVID. They were great places to be because everybody there had already passed. So, and I found some stories that I never knew before. I probably should go back and say that I've lived in South Burlington for 40 years. I live on Orchard Road. I recently moved across the street. We switched houses with the people across the street because we were downsizing and they needed to upsize. So there was my one big move. I moved across the street.
Wow.
Yeah. So and I have volunteered in the schools because I was a classroom teacher for a while before I became a museum educator and then became a historian. And I have brought many students to cemeteries, and I think that's something that students really enjoy doing, and we found a lot of stories that we could research and tell, which is I think a really valuable resource for any city, any town. Of course, with the caveat that they need to be taught how to be in a cemetery and what to do when they're near stones. So there certainly needs to be a caveat about that. But I have a vested interest in ensuring that the graves and all the records are very well kept. There are unknowns buried in South Burlington. I don't know if we can find them. I do have pretty good research skills because I do research and I write history. And they need to be protected. They need to be restored. The stones that can be restored, I understand that some of them can't, or some of them can't be found. But in that case, I believe the Vermont Cemetery Association suggests just putting a flat stone. So at least you have the name and the dates of the people who are buried there for posterity. And I think that the Sextons Committee assists the cemetery administrator. Is that true? The cemetery administrator, from what I've read, seems to have an awful lot to do Does the committee help this
They don't
administrator?
exist yet.
We're figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
We'd love to have
Oh,
one.
the administrator doesn't exist?
Not yet.
That's correct.
Oh. So is that the Sexton's Committee?
Yes,
Does
we're
that
working
become
on
an
it.
administrator?
We're going to get there.
Okay, okay, good.
Are you
I
interested in
personally,
Are you interested in administration?
no. I've never been terribly interested in administration. I personally intend to be buried in the Forest Cemetery. I visited. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think South Burlington should have one, a green cemetery or a forest cemetery. And I have worked in cemeteries. I've done a lot of research on a cemetery in Heinsberg. Actually, a book came from my research in the cemetery in Heinsberg. And we borrowed a professor and students in their ground penetrating radar from the university to come up to that cemetery to help us discover all the lost burials there, because that's a cemetery that was totally destroyed. There's nothing left there. So we're trying to put that back together with the use of records and ground penetrating radar and that sort of thing. So I'm really interested in cemeteries for a number of different reasons, and I would be happy to serve if I was chosen.
Were you able to attend that work crew that was at Eldridge in July?
No, I was out of town.
Oh, okay.
But I have been. I went to the meeting about the beautification of Eldridge, and I volunteered to do some research on benches, and I provided estimates for the committee for that purpose.
Oh, good. Thanks. Questions from council at all? Yes.
Personal thing.
Yeah.
Elise, I think you worked with my mother, Susan Baker, for a while.
I certainly did. I certainly did. Yes.
Next time you're
I was an adjunct at the university for a while when she was there.
Yeah. Next time you're in the library or city hall, stop and say hi.
I will.
Or you have any questions?
I've been out there for presentations at the new museum.
Do you have any procedural questions for us?
Well, I was curious what the division of labor is among the Cemetery Commission, the Sexton's Committee, and now I know the absent cemetery administrator.
We are trying to spell that all out in a new policy document, honestly. So TBD, I think the policy document kind of reflects the latest thinking of the Sexton's Committee, but it needs to kind of be reviewed and shared.
Okay, and that's going to be under the purview of the Sexton's Committee or the City Council?
Right now, it's in the hands of staff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All right, Elise, thank you for applying.
I have one more question.
Sure.
The burial records are being digitized, is that correct?
Some of them are digital. There's computer software. That process is a bit on hold while we work through the governance issues that I just alluded to.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, Elise, we'll be in touch one way or the other.
Thank you very much, Tim.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, next and last is Andrew. Sorry you had to sit and wait so long. Come on up. Tell us. That's right. Tell us why you would like to be a sexton.
Well, let me give you a little background. I was born in Burlington and grew up there. Went to school there, moved to South Burlington in 1997. I've been here ever since. I've always had a small interest in city government, politics, whatnot. And I don't know why I waited till now, but I guess here's my chance to maybe get a little in. I have no aspirations to take your chairs or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, I work like Mr. Kennedy. I work for a couple of funeral homes in town. I work for Stephen Gregory Cremation Service, and I work part-time for Reedy's. And as far as why, well, I think as was stated earlier, for the to help maintain the beautiness of them, and just to lend a hand when I can, which I can do.
Sure, great. Have you visited both of the cemeteries?
I have.
Yeah.
I haven't been in there probably as many times as Mr. Kennedy, but I have been in there, both of them, yes.
And do you like the views from Eldridge of the mountains?
I do. Yeah. And I actually, my mom and my grandparents are up in Hope.
Are they at Hope?
So I get up there
Yeah.
quite often during
wow.
the summertime. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's some beautiful sculpture there.
Yeah.
Questions from the council at all? Were you able to go to that work?
I was not.
Okay. Yeah.
I knew it was happening, but I had other commitments.
Am I the only one who went?
Well, that's Elizabeth to your left.
Elizabeth goes to everything.
So you worked for Gregory and Reedy?
Yep.
Both? Did you ever work in the crematorium at all for Greg?
That's what I do for Gregory's.
That's what you, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's on, that's down in
Meadowland Drive, correct.
Park, right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. Good. Any questions for us at all?
No.
Okay.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, sorry you had to wait so long.
That's quite all right.
All right. You
Thank
got
you
to
for
see
applying.
government in action. That's.
What's that?
You got to see government.
Yes,
in
I did.
action
Yeah,
tonight.
yes, I
Right.
did.
It's apex, the peak. Right. Yeah. All right, Andrew. Thank you very much for coming tonight, and we'll be in touch one way or the other.
Sure thing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good night. All right, so that wraps up all of our interviews. And the next item on the agenda is item 12, which is discuss and approve the FY27 budget schedule with Martha. Come on down. And I've been logged out.
So this is the fun time of year when Martha is living in 3 fiscal years because she's closing out FY25, preparing for the audit,
right,
administering FY26, and planning for FY27.
Oh, ouch.
Yay, Martha.
And there's only one of you.
Well,
Pretty good team.
it's a department, so there are other people. But yes, it's the fun time of the year for the finance department. Martha Machar, finance director. So for most of you, that's just the process that we followed every year for the budget process. Majority of it is things that the departments would need to do to prepare the budgets. But for the council, as you approved it tonight, the next City Council, September 15, is when we'll bring to you the projection, and that's where you will be setting the goals of what you would expect for the tax rate increases and the guidance that you would be giving the city staff as they prepare the budget process. So on the schedule as well, last year there was a budget listening session where the residents are invited to request or let the council know on items that they would like to see included in the budget, and instead of waiting until the public hearing process. Last year was the first year was instituted that it be done earlier so that it is included in budget process and no changes to be made at the end of the budget as the public hearing needs to be set and approved. So that is going to be September 6th. And also something that we've done now for a few years, maybe 2, this is going to be the 3rd year, is the budget working session. Last year, I believe we call it a budget retreat, but we have changed it to a working session. So in the past years, the departments have come here during the regular city council and present their budget, and it was determined that it was taking a lot of time. Though it was never done one single budget, one single council meeting, and it did not leave a lot of time for the budget discussion. So this is a half day, 9 to 1, where the city council and the staff meet, and the staff would present their proposed budget. Council asks questions, staff are available to answer your questions, and then you would come back to your regular city council meeting where you would want a budget hearing.
So that's one of the key questions for you tonight is we right now have that down for December 11th, which is a Thursday. So we would need to know if you all are available that day. Sorry to interrupt, Martha.
Correct.
Let me just take a look.
What time would that be?
9 a.m., right? Did I hear that?
So we could do 9 to 1, or we could do noon to 4.
I'm totally open.
Totally open.
Yep.
I'm open.
Good. Yes. Thank you.
Do you prefer morning or afternoon?
And are we confirming for the morning slot? Would be good for me.
Yeah, let's put it down for 9 for now.
Yeah. 9 to noon.
A.m.
That's great.
To 11?
1.
Oh, geez, Louise. 1 p.m.
Pretty big
Wow.
budget.
It sounds like there's going to be lunch in there, so I'm there.
There might even be cake.
Ooh.
If you approve funding for lunch and cake, we'll be happy to provide it.
Did we budget that for this?
Did we do that before we had the budget?
Yeah. Budget food.
The
If you
council
don't budget
cake.
for the lunch, you don't get the lunch.
But only if Andrea's sister.
Yeah.
That's all I have for you. Any questions?
So besides, so are there any other huge differences between this schedule and last year structurally, though?
No.
No, pretty much the same.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the two questions I had were: do we coordinate this schedule, particularly where we have requests for public involvement with school budget activities?
So on the second page of this schedule, there is talk of the steering committee,
Steering
which is
committee,
required by charter,
Yep.
and we certainly coordinate that and the pre-town meetings with the school. We have not historically coordinated the
coordinate,
listening
okay.
session, and their timeline is a little different of when budgets are brought forward because of the state education,
Right.
when they get the data in from the state. I think it might be hard to pull that October 6th coordination off this year, given where they are with their consultant and with the hiring. But certainly later in the process, yes.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, we should communicate the budget we are likely approving tonight, or the schedule, so they're aware of those dates. And the other question, just out of curiosity, is it a statutory requirement that we print a budget book?
That we print one?
Yeah, I mean, fewer and fewer people. Yeah, because I know those timelines are really tight, and I know very few people require the printed booklet.
So in the past, we've done 25 printed versions. We do some for to posterity to have one, and then put them in the library and put them in the senior center.
Correct.
And the clerk's office.
And we've increased that as needed. So we'll just put them out and the resident would pick them up. And if needed more, we would print them.
So it's really become a much more limited.
Very small.
Great, thank you.
Save the trees. There's no other discussion. We need a motion to accept this schedule, right?
That'd be great.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It is unanimous. Thank you very much for coming tonight and waiting. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Martha.
Thank you, Martha.
We've already done item 13. We go to item 14, which is review the significant agenda topics below for council's September 15th meeting.
So next meeting will be back to a Martha meeting. So you'll see the FY25 year-end projections, including the fund balance totals, and receive the FY27 budget projections. It is likely that the fire department item may need to move to the October meeting. We're working out some schedule things. So it should be a shorter meeting, except
shorter
a
one?
big and
Incredible.
heavy,
Hmm.
meaty meeting of goal setting.
Okay.
Gonna hold you to
That-
it.
Yep. Just not that it's that important, but Andrew, we have, as part of that FY27 budget projections, we've done a deeper dive into the local options tax history to understand where we are and where we're going, which I think hopefully you will find useful.
Great. Item 15, other business. Is there any other business tonight?
I was going to suggest we might want to include a discussion of conversation with the counselor at that meeting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been putting,
Oh, sorry. I was going to suggest we might want to include what our intentions are with a conversation with the counselor venues at that September 15th meeting.
yeah. So there's two separate things going on, right? There's a table and there's,
That's on the 13th. Yeah.
oh, in general?
In
Oh,
general,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, what do you want to do with, oh,
And then I had put a couple different topics, and I don't know if there are planned updates or where these might fit, and they may fit within the context of some budget conversation. But one was on just a status of the, actually this won't be a budget one, but the City Center School Bus Circulation Study and recommendations. If there's going to be some discussion in
There'll be a
at
public
regular.
hearing on that later, and there'll be a public hearing on that, there was just the Patchen Road public hearing.
Okay, is there a time frame?
What Erica said in her email today was that they are waiting on schedule confirmation from the consultants. So this month, but we don't know the date yet.
Okay, so I got it. Sorry, I don't think I saw that
Okay.
at this point. And this was pretty tactical, but I know you had indicated, or the note indicated, that the sidewalk inventory study results are available, and there's ranges of around, I think, averages of like 40% of the sidewalks are rated at 70 to 75%. I guess my real question is, because that was something that was promoted with the public as an inventory we were doing, is that part of, it may show up in the DPW budget plan? I guess that's the question of where that might show up
you mean to fix things?
for further discussion, yeah.
Assume it would be part of the CIP.
Yeah, and that is my question, because I don't think we've ever had a public conversation about what the inventory results were, did we?
Be good to do that. Not much, I don't think.
I can ask when they're available to present on that.
So back to Councilor of the Corner? Or,
Let's do next week. I mean, next session.
Next session.
oh, you want to discuss?
Put it on the agenda for next
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the
Oh,
15th, yeah.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to try and decide what you wanted to do now or not.
No.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, it's 9:45. Okay. Any other business? All right. 16, consider entering an executive session pursuant to 1 VSA 313A3 for the purpose of discussing the appointment of public officers and specifically committee appointments. So we need a motion.
So moved.
I move that City Council enter into executive session pursuant to 1 VSA 313A3 for purpose of discussing, as Tim said, the appointment of public officers, specifically appointments to committees, and inviting Jesse Baker and Steve Locke into the meeting.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're now in executive session, and when we come out, we will not be coming back to public. We will have adjourned by then. Yeah. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Thanks for attending.
Thanks, everybody.